Hello, welcome everyone to a D&D stream. Yes, almost everyone is here. I just need one. We're waiting on one actor, which I think will be here very shortly. So I will just quickly recap what happened last episode for anybody who hasn't been aware of the stream. We have our four characters went into a deep well in the middle of this elven town, and they found a water elemental, which they handedly dealt with, but got pretty hurt on the way out. And when they crawled out of that well, which is where we are right now, they were soaking wet, and then they got out and thought that maybe they would dry off, but no. It's a horrible rainy day right now. The rain is coming down hard on them, and they're met with the other members of their original group that had stayed in town with them. That would be NPCs named Gimbal, Foal, Tessa, and Callie. Horus uses patient defense to put the rain at disadvantage. Yeah, the rain cannot hit you. I'll roll for it real quick. Yeah, the rain rolled a natural 1, so it's hitting everybody but you. It's like curving around. No. We're still short a person, so I'm going to stall for time a little bit more. So the cliffhanger I left us was that there was urgent news, and they were worried because Corbin something, and that was enough. You guys heard the name Corbin, and you were like, oh no, which for anyone unaware of the storyline up till now was their CO in the conscripted army that they are in, technically, and wanted to murderize this whole town, and then the players refused, and that's kind of where they are now. They are, I don't know if I would call them deserters just yet. We'll see what happens in today's episode. I originally named the last Sunday stream, Crossroads, and then they just went into a well, and there was no Crossroads. So now it's called Crossroads again, and we'll see if that actually comes up. It may not, in which case the title will be changed appropriately to whatever they do. I think Crossroads is a great default title, no matter what, because it's like, you're like, what do I expect? I don't know. All right, I'm just going to, actually, I think I had the rest of my Discord muted. I'll bring them in. So we have 3 out of our 4. I'll let you guys introduce yourself, and normally I was telling you guys to just say down the order, but that always confuses people, so I'm just going to say your name, and then you can introduce yourself. First is Fjorn, being played by Moose. Welcome. Next is Oris, being played by Shulking.
Hello.
Good morning. Or afternoon, I guess, technically now. And lastly, we have Zosimus, being played by Falstar.
Yes. I'm, hi. How are you?
Hello. Welcome. Chat says hi. We are still waiting on one more person. I hope I don't have to start without them, because it would be very disappointing, I think. I wonder if I can...
He was chatting in Discord earlier today.
That's why I assumed he was here already, because he was chatting like an hour ago, so I thought he would be here. I'm just going to ban him. No, I'm not going to do that. Let's see if I can poke him. If I call him, does his phone buzz, you think? No idea if that had any effect, but it's possible that he was made aware now. Oh yes, I see that he has a little moon now instead of being completely offline, so maybe he is coming in shortly. I will continue to stall for time. Let me tell you a story. No, I don't have a story, actually. The story is the DM campaign. The D&D campaign. Also, if anyone is curious, I still have to work on the formatting for it exactly, but Zosimus has started a small blog portion on the website. So if you go to if you go to tubertugger.ca, you can check out Fallstar's Frankenbuilds, and he's I just realized I dropped from the Discord. Oh well.
Yes.
That's because when you make a phone call, it takes you out of Discord. That makes a lot of sense. Anyways, I'm back in Discord. But yeah, if anyone is watching and would like to take a gander at that, it is available at my website. You can take a look at his first entry into his Frankenbuilds, or his what was it called? Ladies of, I forget what it was.
The Dangerous Women.
Dangerous Women. Yes.
Some of them are from history, some from literature.
Excellent. Okay, well, I'm just letting them know.
This first one is, yeah, she's one of the most dangerous women I've ever read from literature. And I think she's one of the most. I think she'd be a great character to play.
I think people can even leave a comment if they really wanted to. If someone was reading, they can leave a mention. I'm not sure how exactly if that will alert you that something has been commented on. I really have no idea. We're kind of in uncharted territories here. Also, I heard from May, the person playing May will be here very momentarily. So I'm going to kind of jump in, and I'm just going to role play it as they were busy like drawing off or not completely paying attention to the conversation that was going on between the NPCs and the players. So it is.
We're out of it because we just got through. We went through a lot.
Yeah, you guys don't look too good, and honestly, the party you're looking at, the 4 NPCs you're looking at, are also a little like they look like they were been in some kind of combat already. They've done at least at the bare minimum some hard labor for the morning because they were helping sow the crops with the rest of the elves. But they're kind of freaking out at this moment. Tessa takes lead to explain what's going on, and she just looks at you guys with her kind of. You can see her eyes are kind of scared as the rain is hitting her and everyone's wet and dreary looking. She mentions Corbin's name again. Corbin, they're here, and she points off into the direction of this poor carrot and potato farm. And you actually see it ablaze. And luckily, the rain is keeping the fire at bay. So it's mostly smoke. It's not... whoever decided they were going to try to light this thing on fire, nature itself has almost stopped them. So it's obviously they've done some damage, but not entirely burned the place to the ground. And when everyone turns to look in that direction... I know you guys are hurt and you don't want stuff to be happening, but you look over in that direction and you see Corbin, you see Drug, you see Maverick, and you see 3 other armed military soldiers from the war camp. And you also see Fielor, the town hall leader, is speaking to them. He's got his arms out and he's trying to welcome to the stream, May. Do you want to say hi? Okay. There may be some technical difficulties on that end. I will just continue to speak and hopefully he can hear me so that he's up to speed when this all happens. So, I'm actually going to... This is what I was trying to get ready for you guys.
He's here now. I heard him a little bit.
I heard him a little
Hello,
as well.
can you hear me, guys?
Yes, now I can hear
There we
you.
go.
Yes, welcome.
Okay, so sorry.
Busy?
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Is it loud enough?
It is. We're good.
Okay, good.
So, I'll just catch you up a little bit, but I think you may have heard a little bit about what happened. So you guys creeped out of the well. Quick recap. Rain is coming down. The other four party members, Gimbal, Foal, Tessa, and Callie, are with you, and they all don't look as... They also look a little beat up or worn from the day's work, and Tessa has screamed Corbin's name and pointed that they're attacking, and we looked over to the carrot and potato farm, and it is ablaze, but the fire is not too damaging because it's heavy rain right now, so it's mostly smoke and whatnot. And we see out in the distance... you know what? I'm just going to bring you guys there.
Excellent.
We'll just... So if this makes some sense, it's a little zoomed in, but let's just go with it. Let's just go with it. Hopefully this is coming up on the stream. The fun part was making sure the grid matched up.
Oh, that had to have been a pain.
It was a bit of a pain. Okay, so down in this corner over here, we have Corbin, your old commanding officer. We have Drug, who's not a fan of one of your party members because you had a fist fight a few days back. Or one day back? May have been yesterday, actually. I forget. I guess time's been moving relatively slowly. It's been weeks in real time. Maverick, this halfling, who's, he didn't seem... It might have been a surprise for you guys, I think, that he went with them, but that's fine. 3 other military soldiers that I don't have a cool token for. They're just going to be kind of placeholder guys. And Phalor, which I also don't have a token for, is speaking to Corbin, and he's got his arms out and he's telling him to wait or something. You don't know, you can't hear. The heavy rain is coming down. You can't hear much other than the rain, and that's why if you kind of see on the map there is some wet parts because the rain is starting to you leave the grass really kind of gooey and soft, and your feet, if when you step off that kind of path there, you're definitely stepping into more mud and gooey earth. And you all stare and watch as Corbin draws his longsword and cuts down Phalor in his prime, just innocently, and he drops to the ground bleeding. Probably dead, because it was a very severe looking cut, in twain. And so at this point, you guys are hurt and whatnot, but the Corbin eyeballs you guys, and they start moving towards you, the group of them. So I'm actually going to give you guys a quick moment to maybe you can move your personal characters a couple of squares if you'd like to set up where you want to stand, but we're going to be rolling initiative in about 2 seconds.
Oh boy.
I don't have control over my token.
Okay, sorry. I haven't given you guys the tokens yet.
By the way, this is real time distance, by the way?
It is now, yes.
Distance?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
They've marched up this far, and I think that... I want to say that's over 100 feet of distance.
I only have one spell.
Oh, it's not quite.
And I have...
Okay. I'll move them around a tiny bit as well and get them prepped.
It's time to practice with my longbow, I'd say.
One spell and no inspiration. 2 hit points.
Yeah. You guys are like, oh man, I could really use a rest right now. And I was like, oh, I brought in 2 Callies and no May. That was a mistake. One quick second. There we go.
I have an interesting...
Did that work? Do you guys have control now of your token? I'm just going to quickly kind of shift where everyone is standing. I'm actually going to back them up a little because I did want it about 100 feet. So
okay.
I'm gonna do this. Yeah, you guys can't be that close. You can move a foot or two from, a square or two from where I initially put you. Even Oris, I don't think you can be that far back. I'm gonna say you guys can be about
No? Okay.
about. Let's give you about 5. You can have 2 squares away from where I'm pinging. About that, because you were not prepared for this. This is just sort of happening. I'm just gonna grab you, Fjorn, and kind of bring you close. So.
I was gonna say Oris was just handed the bow from, I guess.
Yes.
Was it Phalor before? So he's still got it in hand, I guess.
Yeah. I guess now that you mention it, that doesn't really make sense. So, let's say you when you did come out of the well, you met Phalor and got your rewards, and then very shortly after that, the crew came up, and let's say you guys even had started to like. Clean your wounds, and like you were gonna prepare yourself for a short rest, and that's when they ran up and this all happened. You're right, chronologically it doesn't make sense that Phalor could have given you something and then been 100 feet away dying, but you know,
that's fine. I wasn't actually like referring to that. I just wanted to make sure it was clear that I had it equipped.
You do.
That's all.
You do.
Yeah. So we could say he just left them, and then like the NPCs gave them to us, and Phalor was already off here because of the disturbance or something like that.
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm okay with them giving you that. Although, all right, timey-wimey, DM handwave. Somehow this is happening. I'm not gonna work out the in-betweens because it's not fun.
Elf magic.
If he often gets himself killed, can we have a short rest?
Who gets themselves killed?
To get a short rest, if he's going off to get himself killed, can we have a short rest at that time?
No, it was
an hour.
It was not a full hour. No.
Hey, I'm trying. I'm trying.
I know you guys really want it, but I think this will be more interesting if you guys are super hurt and
I am going to die.
So as you guys as they're marching forward and you guys are kind of setting up your formations, Callie is gonna draw her bow as well and stand near Oris, knowing that he now has a bow, and she actually will give him a little wink and say, "Nice bow." And
yeah, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. And Tessa,
there's something funny I could say there, but I yeah.
You're like, oh yes, you should see my dink or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something like that.
Way
clever
way to do a double.
Yeah,
double entendre.
Caught me off guard.
If we weren't all nerds. Okay. And Tessa she actually, of everybody, looks like she's the most prepared for battle and draws her blades as she always does, and is standing next to Fjorn, who also looks the healthiest out of everyone. Because I believe actually May is, I think, also healthy, but she's also a little girl, so I don't think anyone's expecting her to take the front line. And lastly, Gimbal and Foal are also getting ready to move forward with their weapons drawn, but you do also, guys, notice that Gimbal is kind of wincing and holding his one side, so take that how you will. And
I have literally one spell.
You have a crossbow. Like,
yeah.
You know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Or it's a TPK and I'm the worst DM ever. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's start off. Could you 4 give me initiative? And I am going to actually keep track of this somewhere because there's a lot of initiatives. And I know I could technically do it
5.
in Roll20, but we're not gonna.
Good start, Nat 2.
Well, you want them to move towards you, don't you?
No, I can hit them from 150 feet.
That's true. You can. Okay. Let me just start rolling for the NPC. You know what? I'm just gonna put the NPCs at 1 initiative all at the same time. Okay, so we've got May with her 18, number 1. I'm also gonna put the bad guys all. I'm not going to do them at the same initiative. I'm going to do Corbin at a different initiative and give the other 2 NPCs and the no-named soldiers the same initiative. So Corbin... Okay, so Corbin's actually going to be first. Then May. Then Phalor, or Fjorn. Phalor? No, Phalor's dead. He does not get a turn. Next, I guess there's a tiebreaker that, or actually, that's the enemies are next. Then we've got, or no, sorry, the NPCs are next. Then the enemies. Then Oris. Then Zazie. And finally, oh no, that's everybody. Yeah, because 5 is really bad, and they rolled better than that. Okay, this is good. I can use this to keep track of when everyone's turn is. There's a lot of bodies here. We'll see if I can handle it better than I did a certain battle royale not that long ago. So obviously you guys are controlling your tokens for movement and stuff, but I'll be controlling basically everybody else. And we'll see what happens. This is good. This is good. Yeah, the DM's just killing everybody. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, so now that we've all rolled initiative, everybody's where they are, and we'll be using the actual movement for everybody. Corbin is top of the line. And let's kill some PCs. No. I just want to double check on my notes that I wrote for this. Yep, Phalor died. Tessa pairs with Fjorn. Callie pairs with Oris. Okay, so Corbin does not attack. He does not advance. He like moves forward. No, he doesn't. He stays where he is actually, and he just kind of like kind of. If you guys remember the owlbear incident back in the very first episode, he just kind of letting everybody else do the thing and is kind of being a commander as opposed to a grunt. You don't see it as a sign of weakness so much as a sign of arrogance. Although you can't really see him because it's really rainy. But, we're going to do what we can do. So, Corbin doesn't move forward. And we will immediately go to May's turn. Hello? Are you there? Guys?
I'm here.
Yeah. I don't know. Ezekiel went somewhere again.
Zeke.
Oh, I dropped out. It's probably phone or something. Microphone or something.
Oh, yeah, okay. So I'm going to come back to him and just move on to the next character. It's not going to be that huge of a deal. It's okay.
He's typing in the chat
I see
there.
That. Un momento. That's no problem. So next up is Fjorn. And Tessa is beside you, giving you eyes like she's ready to kill.
Those eyes, okay. Thank you for clarifying. It's a
The
weird
ready,
time
the
for
ready
other
to
eyes.
kill eyes.
Hello?
Hello, welcome back.
Okay, cool. I don't know what happened. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to assume that somebody must have said that we're attacking these people.
I mean, I guess the 1 second you dropped out there, I moved on to Fjorn, and Tessa gave Fjorn the "let's kill these people" eyes. So I don't know if you could catch that from your distance, but DM handwave, you are all aware that these guys want to kill you, and the NPCs want to kill them.
Okay. Yeah,
I think this is going to be
weird.
this is going to be a more violent encounter than the last one you guys had.
I guess I might recognize some of them as oh wait, those are the people that they sent away whenever ago. Okay,
Well,
I'm gonna.
You're
just
also
shoot at-
aware that they killed Phalor, your town leader,
That's true. Yeah, I
and
forgot
they're
that-
burning down the
yeah.
farm. So I think you're ready to prepare to defend yourself.
Okay, I am gonna cast Firebolt and hit. Let's just say this guy, the closest person.
Sounds good.
Where's my firebolt?
I guess I should.
22
to hit. Yeah, that's fine.
6 fire.
Do you have? Oh, yeah, 120 feet. Yeah, jeez. Through the rain, it sizzles as it eats rain droplets and zips through the air, and you hear that small cinder as it bursts into his face, and he kind of pats it out with his shielded hand. They are wielding sword and board, for the record. It looks like they're holding hammers in the thing, but they have a long sword and a shield. But 22 does still connect, and he will take, what was it, 6 points of damage?
Yes.
I'm not sure what that enchantment cantrip was. I'm going to just ignore that for now.
I think Zosmos is just searching. I don't think you can cast that spell right now. Sorry.
I'm searching for my actions. If there's literally anything worth doing. Oh boy.
Play some music.
Drugs.
Make Fjorn just an unstoppable machine.
Mock them viciously.
Okay. I just wanted to have
Not in
everyone's
range.
HPs ready. Okay. So now, Fjorn, you're given that look from Tessa, and she is ready to go in with you if you are as well.
Yeah, I'm going to move up my 30 feet.
Sounds good.
I believe that's right.
I'll take it. You won't see complaints from me.
And then I guess I'll just... How far...
I don't know if you can get a javelin from here.
No, I can't. Let's see, they are...
Well, I mean, depends on who you're throwing at, maybe. It's 60 feet or for a javelin? Or is it less than that?
Is it 30 and 60?
It says 30 and 120. So...
Oh, well then go. You can do it at disadvantage, for sure. I know you can hit 120 then. Go for it. Keep in mind you are short 2 javelins still in the well. But we're not really keeping track of those. We'll worry about rearming you later. 20. Yeah, I'm going to guess you went for the same guy that got hit by that firebolt.
Right. He's the closest. So.
Yeah, makes sense. So he comes in, he puts his shield up, and the javelin, hits the shield and slides and still gets him. It shifts by, or slices by his shoulder, and a red stream starts coming down his body. And he takes 6 points of piercing damage. He's looking hurt. He's not happy about that. Next up is the good guys. I'm going to say good guys and bad guys because... So, Gimbal and Full are going to make their move up as well. They always kind of step in unison. I almost want to put them on the same space some of the times, but I guess technically they take up 10 feet of space. And Tessa also comes up beside you, and she readies her blades. Has no real ranged effect, but if they come close, she will hit them. Although, it's unlikely that they'll make that distance. And Callie actually says to Oris, first she moves over to Oris and tells him, thank you for the ears from before, and actually hands you a potion. The potion is a potion of healing. You can add that to your inventory. And then she mentions to you, she points to the ladder that you guys can see, and she says, hey, come with me. And she moves her remaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
She was supposed to be beside me initially, right? So I mean, you maybe
she
didn't
can
have
kind
to
of
move
make it
over
up
one.
there. I'm gonna say she gets up
Sure.
there and she won't be able to make her shot because she has to dash up there. So the climbing, slows you down a little bit. But she mentions that there was a ladder up there from before, from what they were working on the fields, and she gets up there and she gets into like a knelt down position and starts readying her arrow. You have this weird feeling that this was what she looked like a couple of days ago, or what feels like months to us, during that first goblin encounter when arrows were just coming out of nowhere and you didn't know where she was. Now looking at the enemies, Maverick. Okay, so first off, Drug calls out to Fjorn. He's got his warhammer in hand, and he just looks at him and he points and he says, "You!" And you can barely hear it because it is very rainy. So you hear more like, "Ugh," and some rain. And he moves his full 60 just to get as far as it can. 1, 2, 3. How are you guys doing that again? Is that a control?
Click on the ruler. On top left, you can see the circle with the ruler in it.
Oh, yes. Oh, I see. So I can just go up. Oh, he could get right in there. I'm just gonna put him here because I don't want to give you guys that much out of it. So then these guys are gonna move up as well, following with Drug. they're gonna kind of shift around a little. Like it kind of feels like they, you know, they know each other a little bit, and they've kind of like shifted their position. So now the one furthest back is actually the injured one, and Maverick actually just like doesn't know what's going on, and he's looking around. His eyes are just darting everywhere, and he kind of like crumples down, and he just starts like crying. He's just like confused, and he's like doesn't know what's going on, and he just starts like halfling crying, ugly crying, and does not enter the fray. And next up is Oris's turn. What would you like to do?
So yeah, I mean, before Callie even moved up that ladder, that was my plan, because I assume you need line of sight for the arrows anyways, and with everyone in between, that was going to be a problem, right? So
yeah, there might have been some. It's possible I could have been like cover rolls and people had cover or whatever, but yeah.
So yeah, I'm assuming I can make it up there based on my 40-foot movement.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not.
That's fine.
How many?
Do you have any monk skills to climbing yet, or is that not till later? I don't think you have anything. So
probably later. Yeah, later I think.
It's actually going to be like to the ladder plus 10 to climb up, and then. So I mean, you kind of don't make it there. I'll let you have it though, but you won't be able to fire.
So I'd maybe just get to the top of the ladder or something. I don't know if that.
How about I meet you halfway? You can get right beside Callie in a sweet badass standing pose, and you can drink the potion. But you can't fire.
That's what I was gonna do anyways. I wasn't gonna attack. So.
Sounds good. I'll give you that. You can get up there and use that one DM. You did more or less purchase it back before when you and Fjorn gave those guys all those goblin ears. Again, the other party members. I think Zosimus decided to keep his, and May wasn't there yet, but you'd killed a bunch of goblins, and they were able to cash those in. Yeah, you may have 8 points of healing. That's sweet.
I didn't even expect that to pop through, but cool. Yeah, and I'll just say to Callie, yes, I'm happy to see you too.
And so the two of you are making like sweet, like bow stances. Sweet bow stances. So, I said bow stances.
Good finish.
Yeah.
And last on our list is Zosimus. You may do what you can.
Okay. I'm going to get to here. To the 30 feet up.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
This is so bad. Now, I'm going to roll at disadvantage to attack. Oh.
Why are you at disadvantage?
I'm attacking. No.
All right. I hear a lot of noises. Who are you attacking? And
I'm attacking here. And I miss, but good.
All right.
With my
I don't see your roll yet. Maybe it's just slow to come through. And I'm not sure.
Pinging.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I didn't see your pinging either, so I'm not sure who you were trying to hit, but I'll assume it was one of the other soldiers.
No, I am. Scroll out. Zoom out.
Oh, you're going for Corbin? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it was a disadvantage, because it's so far away. Okay.
Yes, I can hit him if I can hit him if I,
Okay.
hit him. But I have to roll at disadvantage.
All right, so your crossbow, you come out and you make a statement as the arrow whizzes by Corbin, and he sees it, but he doesn't seem impressed. That's our first round of combat. So we'll go back to the time, unless Sazi has something else to do.
Yes, I'm going to cast a healing word on myself.
Yeah, go for it. That's your last spell. Go for it. Yeah, heal up.
Yep, because I have two. Okay, that's.
Keep in mind, you guys do have a lot of people. So if even half of you were to go down, there's a good chance that you would.
Yeah, they picked a fight they're not gonna win.
24.
Although
3 equals.
So you have 8 hit points now? That's not bad. That's actually a really good healing word roll, isn't it? D4 plus something?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
One
pretty
short. Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. Now I can function.
good. Awesome. You're
I'm
not
not going to
insta
now
dead
I'm
yet.
multi-killed. Yeah.
You guys are kind of like flopping around, except for Fjorn. I don't think he has a whole lot of damage on him. He feels like he took some, I think, but
I took
I'm
6.
only 2 hit points down. I didn't take
Yeah.
any damage in the last
I
fight.
think
actually.
mostly you guys are just short on spells, big spells. Okay, so we're back at the top of the order, and it's Corbin's turn, and he sees you guys, and he sees what's going on, and he turns and he sees Maverick bawling on the ground, and he takes this. You watch as he takes his longsword up in 2 hands, blade down, and he drives it deep into Maverick's spine and neck. And as soon as he pulls out, Maverick is just a crumpled mess on the ground. And he moves forward 20 feet. Oh, damn it. I meant to drag him, not resize the token. And Maverick is... I mean, maybe he's conscious. Maybe he's just bleeding out. You guys can't tell from this distance. But there's a good chance that Maverick just bit the bullet. And Corbin is slain 2 people in front of you now.
Interesting. I thought Maverick was one of Corbin's people.
And he
Yeah.
did not seem to care for his bawling antics, I suppose. We're seeing a slightly different side of Corbin that you may not be used to. He is taking no bothers today. Next up is May. It is your turn.
All right. This is intense. I guess might move a little
Oh,
bit.
sorry. Can I just get? I read your post. Quick. I hate to cut in because we were getting some intense moments, but I wanted to award inspiration to May for a last session's combat with the elemental. I liked how she was like, my character doesn't know if the elemental is bad or not, so I will just keep readying actions until someone... And then she ended up throwing 2 turns away because of that. So I just want to award... if you guys don't know how inspiration works, you can hold 1 of it, and it just means you can add advantage to something at any given time. There's a little spot for it on your sheet. I just kind of wanted to start that. I feel kind of bad that I'm breaking up the tension of the fight. So back to it. Corbin is pissed. Corbin's moving towards you guys, and May just moved forward. And what would you like to do?
I feel inspired for a second. And God, this guy in the back, I don't know at all, but he seems like a douche. I'm gonna attack him.
Oh yeah. I guess you don't know Corbin,
Corbin.
other than he's...
No, I don't know him at all, but he seems like just the worst person right now.
Okay.
You see that? Yeah, you saw that I aimed at him instead of everyone else.
Yeah, well, he just murdered 2 people, like, in cold blood, basically, so...
So I saw him as a threat. So yeah.
Nice.
Oh, another firebolt. Okay, 1 sec. I just gotta quickly...
I assume these guys don't resist fire like like a water elemental might, so...
Not
Yes.
they're not Red Dragonborn or something
Yes, they're just...
with
They're
really
just
good makeup.
So
No.
again, we watched this little girl, this little elf girl. Did you use advantage? I guess you didn't need it.
I kind of forgot to try, but no, I didn't need it.
Well, I mean, you announced it. Do you want to roll it just to see if you get the critical?
Oh, I guess I wasn't meaning that I was gonna use it.
Oh,
but
I
can
see. You
think
just
of
feel finally the DM's inspiration hit you or whatever. I see what
Yeah.
you're saying. Okay, that's fine. The bolt comes sizzling through the air again. It's eating droplets, smoke vapor, not smoke. I guess it's water vapor, steam coming off. Slams into Corbin, and he shrugs it off. He takes that 8 points of damage. He's eyeballing you guys with the dirtiest looks. I think he wants to kill you guys. Next up is Fjorn. It is your turn, and Drug is still like 1v1ing you. He's like, if you don't attack him, he may teabag.
He doesn't have to worry about that. I want to move there, rage,
Sounds good.
and I will attack with the great axe.
all your muscles tense and bulge as your rage infuses you, and you swing with the great axe.
Person with Oris is an ally, correct?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's Callie.
Callie.
Okay.
A bow user of some sort. Just double checking their AC. 16. You go to swing in, and he actually manages to deflect it and not take the hit. His warhammer comes up, and you guys clink blades, or not blades, metal, and you hold it, and you're both flexing and staring into each other. And he smiles this grim smile. And that's the end of your turn? Yeah, because it was your action, bonus, and movement. Okay, so the two of you are engaged to be married. Next up are the NPCs. And I'm clicking on the wrong. So Drug does not even he tunnel visions. I don't think he even notices there's anybody else here anymore. He moves past this soldier will move up to Tessa. This soldier will move up to Gimbal and Foal, and this soldier will kind of get close, and then have to use a dash to get in all the way. Actually, sorry, this one, the hurt guy is actually going to go to team up with Drug, even though Drug doesn't look like he wants to help. He's almost like upset as this soldier comes up to get next to Fjorn. He's like, he gives him this scowl, like he doesn't basically he almost like wants to kill that guy as well now. So as soon as the one guy gets too close to Tessa, she unloads her ready to attack, but rolls a nat 1 and slips in the. She actually goes to swing, and her foot kind of gets stuck in the mud. And you guys kind of all realize how much rain is really there. As you're used to seeing her do some awesome flourishes and sweet moves, but this time she just kind of sticks there and kind of looks up at this soldier, who's got maybe like 4 or 5 inches on her, and does not look happy about it. So next up is the NPCs are swinging, right? So one of them is going to attack at Gimbal and Foal. Okay. One's going to attack at Tessa. And one's going to attack at you, Fjorn. Oh, okay. So the one attacking you, Fjorn, rolled over 20, so I'm going to guess that hit you.
Yep.
And you're going to take 7 points of slashing damage, but because you're raging, you actually only take 3. In these lower levels, the fact that it rounds down is such a huge deal. You'll be getting extra hit point like all over the place. So you take a total of 3 slashing damage from him as he comes in, and you kind of deflect his attack, and you take like a nick on your arm, but you don't even seem to really care. And then the one that attacked Tessa goes wide, and the two of them are just kind of like dancing in the mud and getting wet and almost like wrestling on the ground, but they're not grappled. And then the one that hit Gimbal and Foal does succeed in connecting. Ooh, it's another 7-point swing. But as it comes down to hit Gimbal, you can see Foal. She gets in the way and takes it instead. And she takes her 7 points of damage. And she's bleeding and she's not looking good, but she's still there ready to fight. And so is Gimbal, the two of them there. Now... I actually did that in the wrong order, didn't I? How come you guys didn't tell me that? That's okay.
Who's
There's
missed?
a lot of names.
It should have been
Callie?
it should have been good guys first, then bad guys, but that's okay. I like the way that this worked out, so I'm going to keep going with it. So now it's all the NPCs, and we're going to try to get through these as quickly as I can. So it's back to players who are way cooler and want to see them do good stuff. So Gimbal and Foal will converge on this one guy and take actually like as defensive as possible stances because they don't want to like get killed here. Tessa's turn as well. She's going to try to hit this guy again now, not with her reaction, but with her regular attack. Oh god, another nat 1. You were watching Tessa do some real bad moves. She's actually on the ground. She actually hits the ground, goes prone for a second, and uses her movement to get back up to her feet again. It's a slip and slide right where those two guys are standing. We've got... Gimbal and Foal. They'll take their like dual stance. They'll kind of like pincer him on either side. And ooh, we actually see a critical hit from them. Give me a second.
Did they attack as one?
Well, I'm going to do that to speed things up. They dish out a sweet maneuver. You're actually quite surprised that through their injuries, they're wincing in pain, and they do like this. They do like this like spinning maneuver to get into position, and the soldier tries to deflect and parry the attacks, but as he looks at Gimbal, full spins and slashes his side, and as he reacts to it, he lifts up his arm, and then there comes a slash from Gimbal on the other side, and the two of them kind of finish their twirl and stand there defiantly, swords armed, and this guy took some serious woundage, and does not look so good, actually. And lastly is Callie, who takes her bow out and fires. He's actually going to help Tessa out, who's like floundering here. She rolls well, but she rolls poor for damage. So that arrow flies true as you've ever seen a shot fire. It looked like it was out of some expert marksman for sure. And it flies through, and it actually like misses, flies like over somebody's head, and it just lands right into that this soldier right here. But it like just like deflects off his helmet, and you can see his bell is rung a little, but overall not too much damage. It would have been a headshot, but he like turned his head at the last minute and just took it right in the armor. Okay, that's all the NPCs. We grouped them up. We did them all at once. Good guys and bad guys. We're at Oris. It is your turn. Oh shoot.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I did miss one person, and that would be the man staring at Fjorn. Never swung. Drug. When I did the bad guys, I just moved the 3 soldiers. I didn't actually move Drug. So Drug comes back, pulls back his mighty warhammer, and he swings down on Fjorn. And he rolls what is that? A 14. Does a 14 hit you?
Yep, I have a 14 AC.
No.
Okay, let's see what he does with this warhammer. He does 11 points of bludgeoning damage as it crushes into your bones. But because you're raging, you take half rounded down, and you only take 5 points of damage. But I think everybody has witnessed Fjorn take a bit of a beating here, and you're at least, I would say you're probably under half health by this point.
I'm at 18.
Oh, 18? Never mind, then you have...
Almost half.
Almost half. The baldest man is still standing firm and tall with these 2 enemies in front of him. All right, now, sorry. It is now Oris's turn.
Okay, with my attack action, I'm going to use an unarmed strike to kick the ladder to knock it down.
Okay,
I'm assuming I can do that?
Yep, that's totally fine. I love that use of action. You know what? I'm going to say that that's just the use an item action, which is a free action, so you can do that without having to use up your actual action. Because you do get the free action to use an item, and I would say that pulling a lever and pushing a ladder are about similar in nature. So yeah, that ladder is laying flat on the ground, and someone will have to take time to put it back up if they want to use it.
Okay, so that's, I guess, like just a free action. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then I'll move into a slightly better position, just we'll say kind of in the middle here, and it doesn't make a difference. I just
Yeah. You're
put
doing
myself
it for
a little
looks.
further up
I
front.
like it.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta make it known.
You kind of do that thing where like 2 actors are both stepping in front of each other. You kind of like you get impressed by Callie, and then you kind of step forward to prove yourself. You're gonna fire
pretty
on,
much.
You're gonna fire on Corbin.
Yeah, I think so. Having seen the arrow bounce off the armored soldier, he's just gonna go for Corbin right now.
He took damage. He did take damage. It was a hit.
Oh, okay.
It was a hit. It was
like
she rolled 1 for damage though, so he only took
he
a few points of damage.
So that's what you mean. My bell was wrong. I just thought it was just like
Yeah, he took damage.
it didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Then actually, yeah, I'm gonna actually do the same. I'm gonna attack.
The one on Tessa.
I'm actually gonna attack the one that's also attacking. Yeah, I'll do the one that attacked Tessa. That's fine.
It's up to you, man. Go for it.
Yeah, because she took a bunch of damage and looked bad, so I'll help her out first. 14.
14 to hit. A 14 will not work. So your arrow comes flying through the air, and it deflects. He manages to get it with his longsword. Even though he's kind of flailing around in the mud, he does deflect the arrow. And but he doesn't seem to give you much mind. He's focused on this sloppy half-elf on the ground. Do you have anything else?
I have no key, so there's nothing really I can do with my
Okay.
bonus action. So
I forget if there's something you can do as a Kensai if you connect. Is that how that works?
only if I do an unarmed strike, which is why I wanted to unarmed strike the ladder. But it doesn't matter because
you mean for the
all it does
parrying
is
thing?
all it does is give me agile parry, which
Oh, I see.
I'm probably not going to get attacked by anything here by the looks of it. So
You don't see anybody with ranged weapons, but it's always possible someone's holding holding something, maybe a dagger or something in their gear.
he's not expecting it, so it's fine. It wouldn't have allowed me to shoot my bow anyways because I can't use my bow as a bonus action. So can only unarmed strike as a bonus action, so it doesn't matter. So
Okay.
I'm done.
All right, cool. We are at Zazames's turn.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a little precise. All right, watch.
Watch and learn,
Children.
boys.
Yes, I'm going to move here.
Okay. Through the muck, through the sludge and the rain.
All right, that's my 30 movement. All right. Now, I'm going to use my action to use Vicious Mockery, which has a range of 60.
Okay. I'm guessing you're
Which
hitting
I can
Corbin with that one.
correct.
All right.
He's in range.
I'm okay with that. That's fine.
That was the whole point of getting in. Oh, come on.
Okay, so if he fails his DC 13, he'll take 1 point of damage. All right.
Woo! Woo!
He does fail it. He does fail it. He rolls quite terribly. So what do you say to him? What do you yell out to Corbin? All right. Well, you say some cutting words into the air, and he feels them.
Screw you!
Have people been looking into your dirty laundry yet, or are you just angry all the time?
Yeah. It affects him. He winces slightly. You can see. Well, you can't really tell from this distance, but he does like kind of twitch for half a second and then continue his movement forward. Because now it is indeed Corbin's turn, and since our little halfling buddy is gone, he has nothing to do but to move forward, and he moves up to about here, and he stares you all down. I don't know if that's 30. I'm okay with that because he's not going to attack. He's just going to stare at all of you and remind you. He calls out to you a word that you've never heard before. You're not really sure where he comes. He calls you all mange whelps. All of you. You will die this day. And he does not. We can worry about the lore behind that maybe when we're not about to die.
May's gonna come up with her notebook and ask what that means.
Yes,
Sir, can you
surprisingly.
please explain that word to me? I'm very.
Before I strike you down, can you just let me know what does mange whelp mean?
It is.
I'm going to have to decide whether that's an animal handling or a. Yeah, that's an amazing word. I love it.
So, May, it is indeed your turn.
Excellent. Gonna go right here.
Sounds good.
And I am just gonna firebolt this guy again.
Sounds
Because why
good.
not?
Draw his attention, maybe.
Yeah, I guess I'm just.
A 10. A 10 will not work on Corbin.
I don't think that hits.
No.
Oh,
Zips past him.
Again.
Slams.
It's okay. Give for any inspiration. Okay. Yeah, I shoot past him, but I'm just gonna be like, who are you calling him a mange whelp? You murderer?
His eyes are dark, darker. Well, you've never met this man personally before, but his eyes look to you like soulless and just the worst human you've ever seen by far. Because you haven't seen a whole ton of humans, but this one you
I
don't
mean,
care
I don't
for.
know if she believes if humans have souls, anyways. So she's still deciding.
So he looks exactly like you picture humans to look. Next up is Fjorn.
I guess I'm attacking Drug again.
Okay. You have a wounded soldier by you as well. Just to recap who's hurt and who's not. This guy here is the one who got his bell rung. He looks pretty fresh. The guy in front of Gimbal and Foal just got sliced and diced. And this guy here by Fjorn is the one that took that I forget where he took. I think he took an arrow at one point. Or what was it?
It was the fireball at the start, wasn't it?
Yes. Is that what it was? That might have been.
Yeah.
I forget. It's a reasonable chunk of damage that he took, and I don't know if a firebolt could have done that much. But either way, he's
8
hurt.
fire.
I felt like it was more. Oh, he took a collective of things. Sorry, he took that. He took the firebolt, and he took an arrow. That's what it was, or a javelin. That's
Javelin.
A javelin. Sorry. Yes, he's been bombarded with things, and he has scorch marks, and he's bleeding a bit, and so those two don't look good. I couldn't quite remember how they got. I have their hit points. I don't remember how they took the damage. Anyways, yeah. Sorry, Fjorn. Feel free to smash in Drug's head.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Ooh, okay. So the two of you are just deadlocked. In Blade, you're swinging and he's blocking with his warhammer, and you swing again and he blocks with his warhammer, and you stare at each other, and you're ready for more. Next up is the good guys. I won't screw this up this time. We'll give the good guys their order first. So Callie is going to assist Tessa again. Tessa's going to swing on that one, and Gimbal and Full are going to do their business as well. So I'll just roll them real quick. Okay. Okay, I like that. Okay, so Gimbal and Full, you watch them do this amazing move, and then they go to do something very similar again as their swords cling against shield, and they both seem to be like, they finally succumb to some of their wounds, and they slow down, and just in time, and the soldier clearly blocks both their attacks deftly without even really himself not feeling the pain, I suppose, because he's also very hurt. And he blocks them both, parries, and looks them both down. Callie takes her arrow and tries to take a step forward to look cool, just like Oris. Foom! Releases the notched arrow. It sings through the air, and it misses entirely as it lands on the ground between Tessa and her combatant. But then Tessa takes this opportunity, seeing the distraction in the soldier's eyes, and comes in deep, slides in low, and gives 2 daggers deep into his gut under his armor. And as she kind of spins as she releases and gets back up on her back on her feet, I'm gonna actually move her a little out of dramatic effect here, as she kind of gets beside him, and he takes a substantial hit here.
You marked who's dead.
The only one dead
Nobody.
is Maverick, as far as you
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
Everybody else is still up. That guy took some wounds, and he looks worse for wear, but he's still standing. These soldiers are not going to go down as easy as a goblin. So now we have enemy turns. Okay, let's do enemy
boy,
turns.
this is gonna be bad.
So we're going to have the one on Gimbal and Full. We're going to have the one on Tessa. We're going to have the one on Fjorn, which is probably the most important because I have to announce what's happening. He rolls an 8. So Fjorn, you're okay from that as he does his thing. Let me just roll real quick. Yeah, okay. So Gimbal and Full, this time almost the exact opposite exchange happens, where he finally blocks everything and looks defiantly, but then he kind of is tired, and he comes down, and his sword holds his weight up, and he gets back to his feet, but he doesn't even swing because he rolled very poorly, and that's how I've decided to flavor it. The one on Fjorn also misses, and lastly, the one on Tessa connects. As she was doing her flourish and coming back up, he doesn't recoil from the wounds, but instead slashes and gets down the back of her, and you can tell that she cries out as the blade sinks into her back, with a clean cut, and she takes some amount of damage, but she doesn't look too phased by it. She's ready, armed, prepared to fight. Lastly, we have Drug, who's disappointed that his the person beside him is basically slipping and sliding and not actually contributing. He essentially says, "Get out of here! You're worthless!" And then he swings his roll. Ooh, he rolls a 20. That's gonna connect on you, Fjorn.
Oh, I thought
Drug-
he was attacking the soldier to get him out of the way.
Nope, he's attacking Fjorn again. But he only deals 4 points of bludgeoning, which decreases down to 2 as he comes in and he push. He actually, when you guys connect your weapons, you can feel your arms kind of buckle back for a second. And you take the pain in your joints, but you come back up and you're ready to go. And that is the end of all the NPCs. I hope I got through that a little quicker this time. And now we'll move on to Oris's turn.
Oris is going to just fire an arrow at Corbin this time.
Sounds good. A 21. Yeah, that's going to hit. Notably, the Drug is in heavy armor. The soldiers have shields, but Corbin is, I guess, whatever. You know what? It doesn't matter. 21 hits. We'll worry about what they look like later. 7 points of damage. Oh, yes. So that arrow this time sings through the air, but this time it lands true and burrows itself into his armor. And he stares at you, and he plucks it from his body, and the blood drips a bit into soaks his armor a little, but he doesn't seem to care all that much. 7 points of damage.
And Norris just finishes his turn by shouting, "Why are you just standing there?"
I'm not needed yet. Not for you, mange whelps. Sazi, it is your turn.
I'm going to shoot an arrow at Oris.
At Oris?
Not
Okay.
Oris. Not at Oris, sorry. At Corin.
At Corbin?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, whoa, what's happening here? Is this some kind of ploy? What's
The
happening?
double agent.
Fine the whole time.
And then Corbin still kills you because he kills his own guys for some reason. Okay.
Corin. Okay, sorry,
Corbin.
my brain glitched. Corin, because he's in range now.
Zazie points at Oris, but then points back at Corbin. And go ahead and roll.
Come on, give me something good. That'll suffice, I think. Unless you've got something stupid.
Oh, a 20? Yeah, 20 will hit.
And what's the number? 4. Nothing.
16.
Okay, so he takes 6 points of damage as that crossbow bolt comes in, and it sinks him into a different spot. He almost like he's only holding a long sword, so he tries to deflect it, and it kind of goes past his sword and hits into his body, and he plucks it from himself again, and he drops it to the ground. He takes that 6 points of damage, but still.
Then I'm
looks-
going to move.
Away from the guy you just pissed off? Okay.
Yes.
Good idea.
This is all right. This is going to be a little bit. I have to double check my movement.
Just go hide behind
So
May.
it has to be
Yeah, just hide behind me. She stands up a
No.
little bit.
it's
It would just be hilarious.
This is actually very precise. Because I'm trying to move. I have 30. I have
You're trying to not get an attack of opportunity?
correct.
Y-
I'm trying to move here. I'm trying to move so I can help flank.
The one Fjorn is on?
Yes, I'm trying to help flank. Here I can do it. I can
Ooh.
flank one of them. I can flank somebody, but without an attack of opportunity. I plotted
Okay.
it out.
I'll let you do
Earlier.
it because there's a lot of rain and people are engaged in combat. You can move yourself directly across if you want.
2,
Normally that would give
3. 4.
you can move left 2 spaces if you'd like. I'm gonna let you do that without an opportunity attack.
5. That one. I would still no attack.
Yeah, you can have one
Yep.
more. Oh, you want to go up here? Oh, okay. Yep, that's
I
fine.
can. I can. I would get an attack from him. So I'm gonna go here, And
No,
next
no,
turn,
I'm letting you know that you can move freely because they're all distracted due to the rain. I'm gonna let you have
Okay.
you can have one free one here. You can move up one space.
I can go here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you
This
that.
gives me yeah. This will give Fjorn flanking here, or give me flanking on him, or I can attack. This gives me better options.
Okay, I like that. I'm gonna give it to you because you have like no hit points left. So if you
I
would
have
like to
got-
get into melee range, I'm gonna let you do it.
Also, if he attacks, I have an attack of opportunity. I have no options right now. I can
Okay.
attack. I can shoot. Oh boy,
You're
this is
getting
so
yourself
bad.
into position. I like it. Okay, so you finish your turn, and we come back at the top of the order with Corbin, and he actually, on his turn, as much as you've been hitting him and he's bleeding out, or he's bleeding a little bit, but he doesn't seem that phased by all the damage he's taken so far. He actually stabs his longsword into the ground, and his scabbard actually has a second sword, and he pulls that one out instead. And when it does, you guys, when you see it, there's some kind of aura around it. You see this like darkness, it's black and dark, almost like it's glowing, not light off of it. And
Can we make it
his
Arcana?
eyes are almost the same color now as he stares at all of you, but he doesn't even move. He just looks and flexes and stares at you all, and he says, "Mange whelps."
Should we make an
will
Arcana
take you.
or a religion check?
On your turn, sure.
Okay. Oh boy.
He has yet to. He has his feet planted. He hasn't moved forward yet. He doesn't feel you guys are worthy of him to fight. He wants the good sword and he wants to kill you, but he hasn't entered combat yet. Next up, May. It is your turn. The rain is coming down.
Right. Okay. Just gonna firebolt him again. This time I will use my inspiration because I don't want to keep forgetting about it.
Go for it.
I guess I will just. Can you roll with?
Do you have spells left, or are you also drained?
Me? No, I've got one first level and one second level, so I'm
Okay.
just trying to keep them.
You're not completely out of the game yet. Just trying to gauge
Yeah.
if you
I
guys.
don't want to use them for just damage. I want to use them for something else if I can, if necessary. Like I have shield and things.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, I guess I'm just gonna roll twice because I can't.
Oh, I see, because you had advantage. Okay, so an 8 would have definitely not hit, but a 20 does. As the flames... And luckily that's where the 9 for damage was, so strange how the rolls work, but because it's sectioned that way, the 9 damage for sure. As you strike him, the flames light up his shoulder. He tried to stop it with the sword, and the flames... Actually, as the bolt goes past his sword, the darkness consumes part of the light, and then it slams into his shoulder and bursts into flames, and he takes that 9 points of damage. And he's starting to... he wobbles for half a second, and he's back at it. He's staring you down again. Mange whelp. Fjorn, you're up.
Cursed.
Okay, I guess so. If I want to aim at the soldier right here,
You'll have advantage.
okay. I think I want to try to take him out.
I actually was hoping it would be kind of stormy for people in real life, because it's actually pretty gloomy and crappy today as well where I live. Since someone in stream mentioned that it's also raining where they are. Yeah, a 20. That's not even with advantage, so go ahead and see if it's a critical. Okay, so we'll take the first one, which is the 15 points of damage.
Max, anyways.
Plus, because you're raging, you can even add in the necrotic damage if you'd like.
Okay.
I mean, why not?
Gotta find it on here.
I think it's D6 plus 1? Divine Fury. So a total of 19 points of damage. Easily the highest damage roll we've seen from anyone. Bad guy or good. Yeah, you come down on this guy, and he holds up his shield, and he has a deft block. Like, he is definitely going to block your axe strike, and you come down so hard, you cleave through the metal, crumple into his arm, crumples back into his body, and the sword goes through his shield into his chest. and the black energy splashes out as the necrotic damage hits his heart and organs. And when you pull back, that man is down. He is laying on the ground, but you notice as his armor cut open, his corpse crumpling, you did notice a weird tattoo on his chest. And we'll have to deal with that at a later time because we're still deeply in the rain. And I'm just going to remove him entirely into this little bush over here.
I can imagine Drugs probably wondering what that black stuff was.
The damage you did?
The necrotic.
You're not used. He doesn't know what the Divine Fury is?
I don't know. I was wondering.
Okay. If you want to play it that way, yeah, that's cool. I like that. I'll
You
try to
hit
tie that
guy
in.
so hard he flew back into a bush, like 80 feet away. That's pretty strong. I didn't realize that you're that strong.
That's just we're just have a corpse pile over here. Here. I can even like I can even do this real quick.
Feels like a Lord of the Rings
Oh.
thing where like counting the bodies, just tossing them into the same spot.
Okay, excellent. So that was Fjorn's turn. Now we're up at the good guys. So we've got Tess on a soldier, we've got Gimbal and Full, and we got Callie. So let's just do the rolls real quick. Gimbal and Full, Callie, Tessa. Okay, interesting. Okay, so Callie goes to assist Tessa. The arrow goes flying, misses. Another miss from her. You guys are starting to be a little disappointed, actually. She's supposed to be good at this. Tessa engages with her blades and actually ends up with a bit of a scuffle by accident because she's used to hitting and backing away, and he's holding her arms and she's holding his, and they're kind of backing forth and kind of grappled and not do anything. And then we have, and then when they break away, they're just kind of in the mud, not doing anything. And then we have Gimbal and Full, who did a little bit of damage. They get around and they get it. One of them is blocked and the other cuts him. Ugh! And he kind of makes a grunt as he takes some damage as his leg is cut and he's bleeding there as well now. He's standing up, but he is on death's door. And that's it for the good guys. I guess now we're on the bad guys. So we have two soldiers fighting. Okay, and then we'll have Drugs roll as well on our fellow Fjorn. He rolls a 13 this time, which I know doesn't hit you. So you guys are swinging your giant weapon, two-handed weapons, and they're clanging into each other. They're hitting metal on metal, and you just stare at each other. And you're obviously a bit bigger because you're a swole boy. And then shoot, I kind of forgot the other rolls in the midst of my explanation there. The one that was fighting Tessa, they actually were still in that grapple for a bit longer, and the two of them were struggling and moving and shifting around, and she even like disarmed the soldier for a second. His sword hits the ground, he picks it back up, but they don't exchange any wounds between the two of them. But the one on Gimbal and Full, as he takes that nick, he looks at them, and he comes in with a move, and he bashes Gimbal aside, and Full is so used to having someone by her side doing her flourishes, she goes to block, and the sword slips by and gets her in the side. And as soon as the blade is retracted, she's crumpled down on the ground, unconscious. And Gimbal screams out, "No!" And you're not used to him being vocal, so that actually means something to you guys. We are at Oris's turn. I'm going to put her in a different bush. She's not dead.
She's not functional at the moment.
She's unconscious, yes. She's making death saves.
Oh boy.
Oris is gonna shoot at the obviously the bow again at the one that just killed Full or Gimbal or whatever, whichever the two.
This one?
Whichever one's the girl. Yeah, that one. So
Okay, yep. Go for it. A 20 critical hit!
All right.
So
and
wait.
I get a key point back. Do I roll?
Oh yeah,
again?
you do. Owl. Okay, so how does that work?
Oh, my second.
The second
the crit
die roll was
is
a 1.
included there, and it was
Okay.
a 1, of course.
So your 6 was
So-
a roll of 3 plus 3. So you rolled a 3 and a 1 on your d8. So is that a relatively low 7 points of damage. Okay, so you pull back, and your death shot fires, and as it does, the string of the bow glows, and the owl you almost think that the owl, like, its wings almost feel like it opens up a little, and you feel your energy revitalize in your body, and you do indeed get that 1 key point back, thanks to the owl soul. And as the arrow flies by and misses Gimbal and slides into the head of that soldier, his eyes go dark or closed, I should say, and he collapses into death saving throws. But I mean, they're enemies, so they just die. And now we're on Zazi's turn. What would you like to do now that there are only 3 enemies standing on the battlefield?
I'm going to move here, and I'm going to attack with my rapier.
Excellent, go for it. You may have advantage.
Ah!
Okay, so 2 13s. That's not gonna do it. So even with the distraction and the mud and the weird grapple he just had with Tessa, when he turns around and sees this this cloaked bard, or however you look, robed bard, stabbing his rapier at him, he manages to deflect it with his long sword and just looks at you with disgust.
Okay. And that will suffice.
Okay, that's your turn?
Yes. I was trying to get a little bit cost a little bit more range of movement to get to for Corin to get to me.
Corbin.
Corbin.
You know, like from the Fifth Element.
I haven't seen
Corbin Dallas.
Corbin Dallas.
Yeah. His last name's not Dallas, but I really wanted to do it. What's Dallas in this world? I don't know. All right, we're back at the top of the order, and it is Corbin's turn. And he's taken some damage. He's gotten hit a bunch, and he's watched 2 of his soldiers fall. He is going to engage in combat now. Let me just do some counting. 2, 3.
Cursed one.
He's gonna move right into the mix. Right here. And he's going to lay a slash. He's going to take his unglowing, I should say. Give me 1 second to look up his stats for attacking with that weapon. Mange whelps. Null glow will have your blood today. And he swings once at Fjorn and once at Tessa. Fjorn, you are going to take... a 20. I think a 20 is going to hit you. And at Tessa, he hits Tessa as well. This is going to suck. Oh, jeez. Okay. Oh, boy. Okay. And on Fjorn, you're going to take 8 points of slashing, which is reduced. So you only take 4 points. But the sword... Did I not... Why didn't I put that there? There we go. You also take 1 point of necrotic damage as the shadow from the sword, as it hits you into your flesh, it slashes across, and then it bleeds black for a second as your body takes it in, and then so you took a total of 5 points, I guess, of damage from him. And as he swings at Tessa, he clips her and he hits her. It doesn't look like it would be that big of a hit, but then as the blackness seeps into her, she screams out in pain, and she crumples back a little bit, and she's on death's door. She does not look good. That was Corbin's turn. We're at May.
Damn. Okay, I'm gonna get up here-ish. Yeah, I'm just gonna firebolt again.
Right at Corbin's face? Go for it.
Right at Corbin's face.
right at Corbin's beautiful face. Man, you've been rolling well.
Nice.
Phoom! The bolt comes in. He's starting to get used to it. He thinks he's dodging out of the way, but every time he does, you adjust for his movements. You are learning as quickly as he is, as you are a very smart young girl for sure. By young being 30-something or whatever we decided. It slams
May
in.
just cocks her eyebrow at him.
It slams into his chest. He takes it, but again, he kind of backs a bit as this is starting to take its toll on the man.
Maybe if you'd gotten to combat sooner, you could have done something.
He did some damage. He did some damage.
Oh, he definitely did do damage. It would have been a lot worse if he came in early.
Fjorn, it is your turn, and you're dealing with two bulky armed men at the moment.
I guess I'm gonna go ahead and go for drug again.
Yeah, do it.
Down.
Sorry, can I just... Is your slashing... Yeah, every time you deal damage, we haven't been including the +2 for your rage.
But I haven't done any other than to that soldier. I've missed drug every time.
That's true. Fair enough. So it didn't matter. You actually did well over 20 points of damage to that soldier. Instead of the 19, I think it mathed out to. But in this situation, a 15 will not be good enough. And again, the two of you both... Like, he is well armored, defensive, holds his warhammer. I'm surprised. I thought this man would have took some damage by now. He's fine. And now we're at the NPCs. We're going to have Tessa fighting the soldier with flanking. We're going to have Gimbal move in as well. And we're going to have Callie fire on Drug. Let's see if she does anything. Okay. Gimbal. Ooh, Tessa. Oh yeah, there's only 3 of them now. Okay. So Gimbal has a moment, a flash of anger, and he runs up. I guess I should roll some damage on this. Not that it matters, because I know that it is a critical hit. As he drives his sword into the back of the soldier. He was not prepared for this. He just saw his commander come down and do some serious damage, and he was shocked and awed by it. And Gimbal drives his blade deep into the back of the soldier, and when he pulls out, he crumples to the ground, and you are left with only 2 enemies to have to worry about at the moment. And the second he does that, he's back over at full, over her, trying to help her. And as far as I'm concerned, they're both out of the combat now. He won't help again. And Tessa's fine. His target's dead. And she turns to defend herself against Corbin. And he stares her down with deathly eyes. And he even utters the word elf under his breath. And you get Callie's shot, actually, as well. I actually was supposed to... Okay, 4, 5... Yeah, this is the first time Drug has taken any damage, as this arrow sings through the air. I've said that 3 times now, sings through the air. I hope you guys like hearing that.
Very, very, yeah.
You hear it like
Harmonious.
hit raindrops, and it almost sounds like music as it whistles, and it strikes Drug in the arm. Ugh! And he doesn't even bother pulling it out. He just flexes, and he gets ready to fight the man in front of him. He does not care that he's been struck by an arrow. And now we're at the NPCs, the enemy NPCs, which I can now rename as just Drug's turn because he's the only standing enemy NPC. And he will swing on Fjorn as well, my good friend. Ooh, a 14. We know that hits.
Yep.
9 plus 5.
Yes, him.
Yeah, it hits, and he actually hits big time, rolls big on this one, and would do normally 12 points of damage, but you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as it comes down, and you feel it as it comes down straight down on your shoulders, and it pushes you kind of into the ground a bit, and you buckle as you take that damage. I'm guessing by this point you're starting to feel some of these hits. I don't know what your exact HP is. Stream might know. I'm guessing
It is 5.
So we now know that both Tessa and Fjorn are really, really hurt. But luckily the enemies don't have a turn for a little bit. It is Oris's turn.
How far down is the roof? Do I take fall
damage?
damage if I jump down?
Well, what you're gonna do is you're gonna roll athletics. If that's what you want to do, it's gonna be an athletics roll to see if you
Okay.
do it deftly or not. If you
Okay.
manage to do it. It's about 10 to 15 feet because I said the ladder was 10 feet, so it's not that much. If you are gonna take damage, I believe fall damage is 1d6 for every 10 feet you fall. So you might take 1d6 depending on if you fail miserably.
Yeah, I have a terrible athletics roll. All right, I'm shooting my bow.
Okay, yeah, I guess it is. I guess you could do acrobatics if you really wanted. If you wanted to do a flip off there.
Oh, yeah, that's dex based. All right, let's try that.
Yeah, you're good. You managed to do it. It's not the coolest looking thing. You kind of pictured a cool flip, but you just kind of like, you get down there and you land in the mud, and you're ready to go. What would you like to do?
Can I use the rest of my movement? I don't know how much I should have left. All of it? Probably not.
I'm gonna say you lost the 10 dropping down or 5. It's fine. You have 30 feet still.
Okay. I think that should be 30.
Sounds good.
And
Put that health potion to good use.
yeah,
the HP from
I'm
it,
gonna.
anyways.
Is there a penalty when you're too close with the bow, or is it
You have
only
to
when
be
you're
in
right in the
direct.
5 foot range?
You have to be directly in melee combat,
Okay.
and then you'd be at disadvantage.
So I can still, yeah, I can still use it here.
Yes.
The only other question I had is, I have a bonus action called Kensei Shot, and I don't understand. It says you can use this bonus action to make ranged
Yeah,
attacks,
so-
deal an extra 1d4. But if I've already done the other attack, does it
Are
just
you
add
sure it
on to
says
that?
to make a ranged attack? I think it's if you made a ranged attack.
It says you can use a bonus action on your turn to make ranged attacks with a Kensei weapon, deal an extra 1d4 damage.
Oh,
until the-
okay.
until the end of the current turn, but I've already
this is what
attacked with
this
the
is what
bonus.
I was actually confused about because I thought that you got to do this. So basically, it boils down to you having that unarmed strike. So you should have been shooting 2 arrows this whole time, but that's fine. It's the same
How?
idea, is that a monk should be able to do like a bonus punch. So
Well,
yeah,
it's not really a bonus. It's not like an extra attack. It's just extra damage to the attack.
Yeah, to the attack I've already done. That's what, like, I know it's not
Yeah,
an
yeah.
extra attack, and it uses a key point. Or no, it doesn't. It doesn't use a key point.
Yeah,
But
because monks would be terrible at range if otherwise, because all their things are melee based.
yeah,
So that's why they added that in, so that you could, not be.
it's the same as that
worthless.
bonus unarmed strike.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, so it just adds on to the basic attack. Then.
Sure,
It doesn't,
sounds good. So you can do some
because
extra
because
damage.
I took it as being after the fact, but I don't have any more bow attacks at that point, so it's useless. But if it adds on to the initial attack, that's fine.
Okay,
So,
sounds good. I thought I kind of asked about it before, and you said nothing. You just told me you had nothing, and I was just like, that's fine. I'm not going to question it. But yeah, I think you were supposed to dish out a little more hurt.
well, I didn't have any range attacks unless the whip counted as ranged from 10 feet, but I don't think it did.
No, go for it. Start shooting. What would you like to hit? Drug or Corbin?
Oh, sorry, Corbin.
Or would you like to hit Zazie?
I miss anyways, I'm assuming.
Yeah, 16 isn't going to quite do it. So you fire
13.
at Corbin.
Damn.
Yeah, 13, sorry. And he's able to move out of the way at the last moment, and that arrow lands by, and he stares at you with those dark, deathly eyes. Almost from beyond this world. Zazie, you're up. Zazimus.
Okay. I'm going to. Boy, this is really dumb. I'm going to get in close, so I can give flanking to Fjorn. On let me make sure. I'm gonna give. I'm gonna move here so I can give flanking to Fjorn on.
Yep.
On him.
Sounds good.
I'm going to attack him with my rapier.
Sounds good. Zazie getting in there, being a hero.
And I can do this at advantage.
Yes.
And it's not letting me. It's not letting me. I'm trying to tell it to roll at advantage. There it is. Ignore those. And it's supposed to let me roll at advantage. So they roll.
Okay.
Disgusting. Disgusting numbers.
Okay. So
That's what it's supposed
why
to
is
do.
it the same roll twice? That can't be right. I know you did that before too. It seems very unlikely that you would roll both dice identically twice.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do the same process. This is the roll at advantage. Let's see if. Oh,
Like, I'm wondering if you should just roll and then roll again. That's what everyone else has been doing, and that seems fine.
Yeah.
okay, but yeah, I've been getting garbage rolls.
Okay. Are you rolling again, or can I take those 15s?
Whichever numbers you want.
Okay. All I see is the 15s. I don't know if you rolled another one, but...
I rolled again, and I got a 14 and a 15.
Okay. Well, 15 is not good enough to stop the old Corbin down. Or, oh, no, sorry, it's Drug you were swinging on. Yeah, 15 definitely doesn't.
I didn't trust my numbers to attack Corbin.
You
I was
actually
like,
come up behind him, and he doesn't even turn to you, and you go, but you hit steel and you hit his armor, and you try to find purchase with your rapier, and you just can't, and he just kind of gets itched a little on his back. He says, and that's it for your turn. And now we come to the Deathbringer, Corbin, top of the line. He laughs out. He's going to... He's going to swing on Tessa. Oh. I don't even have to roll damage. He connects on Tessa. He gets her. Boom! Into her shoulder. He just kind of drives it in with a deep thrust, and the black energy spills out and covers her. Ah! And she pulls out, and she crumples back down onto the ground, and she is also unconscious at the moment. And then he leaves Fjorn and his 2v1, or not Fjorn, Drug, and moves towards Oris, actually. You know what? That doesn't make sense to me. Did you hit? You missed him. He's actually going to move towards May.
Oh, no.
Oh boy!
Because you've done the vast majority of the fire damage to him. But when he does leave Fjorn's melee range, yeah, go for it. You can make an opportunity attack. Just do 20 damage. It's simple.
No.
Yeah, that's not good enough. So he manages to slip past you, and he
Horrible
moves into
rolls.
May's combat range, and he does a slash on you, my friend. Let's see what he does. It's not a critical hit. It is only a 10. It is only a 10. So I guess
That
in the
doesn't-
movement... Oh, actually, sorry. It's not going to matter because it would have to be a lot more to hit you, right? Because you have mage armor on?
I have a 16 AC, yes.
Yeah, so I actually miscalculated the math, but it still wouldn't have mattered. He comes over and he swings, and you manage to kind of sidestep it in your little elven dress or whatever you're wearing. I don't know. We don't describe that stuff sometimes.
Yeah, she's wearing it.
That's what I pictured. I'm like, correct me if I'm wrong. But now you're in melee combat range with Corbin. What would you like to do, May, on your turn?
Ooh, awesome. He's wearing armor, right?
He is, yes.
Like metal armor?
I'll give it to you, yeah.
All right. Then, yeah, because I can use Shocking Grasp, which you get advantage on the attack if they're wearing armor made of metal.
Sounds good.
So she's gonna she's gonna dodge his attack and then just look at him like, shouldn't have done that, and hopefully this works. God damn it! Why I don't understand why the hold on.
I'm
There's a-
assuming we're deep in combat here. Normally I would offer a break, but do you guys just want to like keep push through here?
I'm good to keep going.
Feel like if you don't want to say it on stream, feel free to send me a quick DM, and then I'll just announce it I'll announce the break.
Does 19 hit?
An 18? Yeah, an 18 does connect for 4 points of lightning damage, and then he doesn't have his
the 19 was the first one, so 7.
Oh, because of advantage. Yes. Okay, so you managed to like grab his wrist, and you just zap as the electricity sends up and jolts his arm. Yeah, you're able to freely back away from him if that's what your plan is here.
I'm not really sure. I'm trying to think if I should like run away because he could just chase me pretty easily. I mean, his movement speed's also 30, right?
As far
Seems
as you
like
know.
it's the same. I mean that's about how far he's been moving. He hasn't been moving.
Yeah,
any
yeah. He hasn't been moving very quickly, mind you. But yeah, as far as you're
That's
aware,
true.
he seems to be moving at a regular human pace.
Um. I'm just gonna stand there.
Okay. So you stare
I don't
down
want to-
Corbin.
Yeah,
This
I'm gonna
little
stare him down.
elf
Well,
girl
stare above it.
defending her town. Sorry, you can. Were you role playing it a little?
Oh no. Yeah. I stare up at him. I guess he's probably taller than me. Just don't say anything else.
Okay. Fjorn, your turn. Drug has taken a little damage.
All right. I guess I'll roll
I'm
the
in-
advantage with him.
Yeah, you will have advantage. Go for it.
Oh my gosh.
Good thing you have advantage.
I d-
No,
No, the first one was his. Oh shoot!
a 10 and a 7.
We did that. Sorry, I
No.
saw the 10 before and I got confused. You're right. Yeah, that's not gonna do it. Fjorn, a big beefy boy, just slipping on the mud today. Yeah, he tries to get in there, and Drug is just proving that this time with actual weapons, he's able to take you on while fighting another combatant. Yeah, he. It is his turn. No, it's not. It's the NPC's turn. So we'll do them real quick. It's only Callie, so I guess I can just name her Callie at this point. Callie takes her turn. Yeah, she manages to shoot and hit Corbin, actually. He takes
Good.
a good amount
Someone.
of damage, actually. As an arrow comes in, another arrow, like he's taking arrow on arrow on arrow. This one drives into his shoulder, and again, he pulls it out, and he stares at her, and she looks shaken a little, actually, by this stare. And the blood soaks into his shoulder a little bit, but he's still standing. And then it is Drug's turn, and he says to you, Fjorn, "What? We actually used weapons, and now you can't fight." And he's going to swing on you and ignore Zosimus entirely, and bring his Warhammer down with a 21 to hit. Let's see how much damage he does.
Oh.
Plus
Oh, no.
3. Ooh, 10 points of damage. Ooh, that halves to 5. I believe that is that is enough to put you on the ground.
Who did? Oh, you
Fjorn.
hit
Fjorn takes 5.
Yeah,
It was a
he ran to the
10.
bathroom.
Oh, did he run to the bathroom? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but he said he was at 5 before, so.
Okay, so yes, he manages to get that Warhammer down, and Fjorn, he blocks it with two hands with his battle axe, and it comes down and hits him in the head, and it crumples him, and as soon as it strikes him, he's down on the ground. Your big beefy meat shield, I almost said meat shield,
Ew.
is now down on the ground, and he'll start having to roll death saving throws on his following turn. And Drug turns to Zosimus with a big, successful grin on his face. And that is the end of his turn. It is now up to Oris to defend his less than melee capable characters that are in combat right now.
He
Yep.
literally left and got knocked down, and then came back.
I assume I can't flank Drug because Fjorn is still kind of there.
You can. I'm gonna move him off to the side, but
Well,
he's
what
gonna
happened?
he's gonna have a third bush actually because he'll
Well,
be
I
making.
mean, but if we want to make a check on him, we would
Okay.
need to know where.
That's fine. I'll leave him there then. That's cool. We just know that he is laying on the ground right now.
Great.
So
It was
okay,
Exacxes. I apologize. The dice rolled, and that's what happened. Oris,
So can I flank or not then?
you can. It's fine. A corpse. You can stand on where bodies are. It's not like they don't get in the way.
Apparently my
5
token
feet
is
is enough
underneath.
that you can kind of like get around, and it's fine. I'm even okay with you guys. You can be just that's fine, and you guys can have flanking.
Okay, I'm gonna use unarmed strike, and even though I'm holding my bow, and I'm gonna also use flurry of blows.
Excellent. So 3 punches on Drug. Let's do it. Okay, that hits, but just roll them all. Oh, baby. One more. All right.
Nat
That's
one.
still 2 real good hits as you connect. Oh, but they all had advantage. So you can just roll
Oh.
just for the missing one. Just roll for the bottom one. Okay. And then I guess roll 2 more just to see if they're crits. Okay. So we got 3
Jesus.
hits. The other one was 5 damage. So we're looking at 14 points of damage. As you
Nice.
deliver the reason monks are monks, as you come in, you fly at Drug, and he turns to you, but he doesn't get his guard up in time, and you drop an elbow, you hit him with another left hook, and then you bash him with an E, and he just, he's down in the mud. He takes the damage. He's not dead, or he's not down, but man, is he hurting. He brings himself back up to face you, but he looks frightened at this point. Zazie,
You
it
should
is-
not have done that.
I need
Epic.
to move here in order to
Yeah,
think.
that's fine. Don't worry about the logistics of it.
I'm going to attack with my rapier.
Go for it. You have advantage. He's not even like back up yet. He's still like trying to get back to his feet. And what happens?
Oh, that should suffice.
Why is your rolls different than everyone else's? It's the same problem the Blackbeard was having.
Is it showing up?
No,
Show up?
No.
just let me. I'll take your word for it, or just tell
Well,
me.
now did it show up?
Nope.
No.
Oh, I got a 13 and a 16 plus 4, so that's a
So
20.
20. A 20 will hit. How much damage? Should be plus 3. So I think minimum 4 damage.
a 1d8 plus 2, and I rolled a. What did I roll?
Okay. I'm gonna say that's enough damage to knock him down.
I rolled a.
Yeah, he.
I rolled like I think I rolled like a. I think I rolled a. I rolled a like a 3, and so a plus 2.
Okay.
That's a.
Okay, sure.
Not a
So
lot.
you connect and you hit Fjorn and he crumples. Or not Fjorn. Sorry. You did not hit Fjorn. You hit Fjorn and he dies immediately. No, you hit Drug. And the two of you actually do this like, I mean, let's be honest, it was mostly the monks' work, but the two of you work in this meleeing dance, and Drug goes from almost entirely at full health, slash, stab, and down. And he is bleeding out now on the ground beside Fjorn. As the two of them almost fittingly have fallen, and the way they're laying, they can, if they had their eyes open, Fjorn is on his back with his head turned, and Drug is on his stomach with his head turned, and they're looking at each other with their eyes closed, mind you, breathing possibly their last breaths, depending on the next little bit. So the only one left now.
Bjorn's rage was so strong it fueled you guys even after he got knocked out.
Yeah, the rolls I got there.
I know.
Like 19, 19, 17, 17.
Last up, though, we're back at the top of the order, and it is Corbin's turn. And he is going to unleash his holy hell on our little friend May here. Unholy hell, I should say.
Boy, this is gonna be bad.
Okay, so he rolled a 15 and a 19 for his two attacks. So I think you told me... Oh,
Wait,
I guess... Yeah, so he rolled a 15, and we know that misses. And then when his second attack, he rolled a 19, and I will let you...
Yeah, I will shield them.
Yeah, for sure. So he the first sword slash comes down, and he can see that you're visibly your guard is visibly down, and you're on your knees, and he comes down, he smiles, and he brings the sword down, and you raise your hands, and the energy and the magic comes and shields you with a beam or a dome of energy as it slashes and hits, and it stops the force, and the black energy blasts off of it, and you are fine for this turn. He looks visibly disappointed in that situation. May, it is your turn.
May is upset. She is very she does not like this guy. This guy is like I mean, she sort of gets that he's cursed or something, but she doesn't know what he was like before, so she just kind of like, this guy's no. She's not feeling.
Sorry, I just want to quickly, Nicholas. Yes, there is an extension. If you go to the right, if you just hover over the right, it should list all the characters. Knowing who they are, you're gonna have to probably wait for me to mention it, because, I mean, you're just gonna have to memorize their voices, really.
Zosimus has the turban, and that's me.
Well, yeah. If you look at the side, their icons will be there with their names, so you can kind of get the feel for it. I know there might be a bit of a language barrier here. I hope that you're getting as much as you can out of this. This has been a real epic battle so far. Probably one of the most epic we've had up till now, and I'm rooting for you guys. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut into there. Yeah, you can Shocking Grasp successfully hits on that 18. 6 points of lightning damage again as you stand up and you grab his wrist and you look at him with these innocent but at the same time aggressive, as if you felt the death of many of your brethren and maybe your parents, and that rage is in you. You're not a barbarian, but he feels it, and it zaps through him.
That cold anger.
Almost lets go of his sword entirely as you successfully deal that 6 points of damage, and he is hurt. Is that it?
Is he like really hurt yet, or what? I've
He
hit him a
is.
lot.
He is. He's hurting. He's hurting now. He looks visibly hurt.
I've like dealt solely damage to him.
You
He's still
have.
not
You're
down.
the main
Damn.
person to have encountered this man, but he's still standing. He has a big health pool. Whatever the hell's going on with this person. So,
Still a build from-
are you? Is that it? You're gonna keep standing there in combat
Yeah,
with him?
she's just gonna stand right there. She doesn't want to show no fear.
Can I? Oh yeah, that's right. You got advantage because of his armor. I was like, you don't have flanking. No, yeah, you do. Okay, Fjorn, it is your turn. Can you please make a death saving throw? Which is if there's no button for it, just roll a d20 for me. A 4. So that is a failure. So it's your first failure as your soul, your body starts slowly being separated from one another. 2 more of those, and you will be out of this game, my friend. Or at least Fjorn will be.
No, the player's also kicked.
I actually come to your house. And, Callie. Okay, so at this point, Callie is noticeably shaken by the previous round's Tessa going down, and she will actually head down as well and make it into the groupage and try to keep people from dying. We're just having all the NPCs essentially dealt with. 2 of them bleeding out and 2 of them alive, helping those 2. We're at Drug's turn. Drug is down, so he's just going to make a roll as well. Although you guys could do things to him if you wanted. He doesn't look good. Oris, your turn.
To try to get Fjorn up, it's probably my full action, and it's a medicine roll or something.
Mm-hmm. Medicine check.
Yeah, if that's what you want. It won't bring him up. It will stabilize him. You can't actually get him back into combat without some kind of healing.
But he doesn't have to do the death saving throws.
Right. It's up to you if you want to leave that to Zazie, maybe?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that, and I'm assuming I can flank.
You can, for sure.
Corbin. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll try that one, and then I'm gonna do 2 unarmed strikes.
Yeah, with advantage, go for it. You guys have all the advantages. All right, I'm gonna consider that one roll, and then do the next one.
Yeah, that's the first one.
Yep.
Misses.
Oh boy.
Of
Okay,
course.
well, clearly your love for Fjorn is greater than your love for May, as Corbin is.
I mean, May's not down yet, so.
Yeah, he's a man of vengeance, not a man of aggression. So, yeah, Corbin is able to. He actually takes his one hand off of the blade, and as you come in with a punch, he catches it. And as you come in with the other, he dodges out of the way and throws your hand down, and he looks at you, mange whelp, and you're just kind of left, in the mud.
I think he would still just smile back at the insult.
Sounds good. Zazimus.
Oh,
I'm guessing your medicine is good?
it exists.
I mean, you're as a bard, all your
I am
skills
a
exist.
+1. I don't know if anybody else. is
Mine
any
was
better.
mine was +2. I probably could have done it, but I really thought I could do some damage to.
Does
Corbin
anyone know?
there,
Is it
so-
just a DC 10? Is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it said.
That's what I
mine is
figured.
+2. It's not horror. It's not disgusting.
Okay. Go
It'll
for
get
it.
higher.
Nice.
It's 60%, I guess.
Yeah.
I rolled
Okay.
11.
You successfully perform your quick. It's not CPR per se, but you managed to like staunch the bleeding of his major wounds, and
Yeah.
he is laying there breathing at this point. You get him like in the recovery position. You know,
Yes,
like,
and that was my full action.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to just sit down in a defensive position and get ready to attack next turn.
Okay. Sounds good. So we move back to the top of the order. We have Corbin at this point, who can now dish out an attack on each of you instead of just both on May, and he will do that. First on May, next on. Oh no. Okay, May 17, which I know hits. Oris 20.
Well,
He rolled
I
a
guess
crit.
I'll use my last shield.
Okay. Yep, that makes
I'm
sense to
the
me.
second level slot, but yeah, I don't want to get hit.
Yeah, you don't want to get hit. Okay, so for some reason, Oris cannot have. It always happens. He stays on a melee. He gets into melee, and a goblin
Did you
or
crit me?
somebody rolls a. He rolled a natural 20. Yes.
Of course, he fucking did.
Oh
So,
god.
Even with my 17 AC right now, nothing.
Yeah, I don't even have to ask you because it just hits and it's gonna do some.
What's your health at?
Probably not enough, but we'll see.
Oh my
Man, I
goodness.
mean, I feel like almost I might have been able to take it more than you, because I've got more health right now.
Yeah, you've got HP for days. Fair to us.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. I haven't gotten hit in the
Okay.
last two fights at all.
He did a total with the slashing plus the necrotic 21 points of damage. Can you
My
let me
God.
know your current remaining total and your maximum HP?
I had 13 out of 18, so I'm just down. I'm fine.
No, but
Oh.
if it was both, if it adds up to both, which it doesn't in this case, that's would
No,
have had to
I
be
know.
31.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
It's fine.
So you like Fjorn, he gets you. Catches your fist, throws you aside, and brings his sword down on you, and it cuts through your clothes, your cloth, and leaves you bleeding on the ground. Darkness seeping into your wound, and you can feel that for 1 second as your eyes go closed. May, it is your turn.
All right, I am going to do the same
2v2
thing.
or 2v1 still. We have our spellcasters meleeing this guy.
Oh boy, this is so bad.
Good lord. Okay.
Oh boy.
Oh, critical hit!
Oh shit!
But it's only
Oh, I rolled
3
4
damage though.
Oh my god.
But still, he knows it's critical. Like he,
Yeah, he feels it. He feels that
Get it
critical
right.
hit.
It's when he turns around, I grab like the back of his neck or something.
Vroom.
Damn, that's so little damage. That sucks.
Yeah, he's very shaken by this, and he's starting to really not look good. But he is not down.
I think. So I've only got one other person up, and I have more health than them probably.
Yup, you've got health for days.
I don't know about for days, but you
Well,
just saw
I did-
someone
I
take
did have-
21 points of damage. So
Well, that was a crit, and I actually would have survived that. So,
okay.
but that not very much.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just gonna stand there. I guess I'll just stay.
Yeah, I think it makes sense if you're hoping that Zazie gets flanking, which it is by.
Oh, yeah.
There is
I'll-
no
I'll
one
go
else currently in
so
the
you can-
fight. So actually, Oris, sorry, you must roll a death saving throw, and then it will be Zosimus' turn. You can move already, Zosimus. Well,
Oh, okay, so it's my turn to
Oh,
roll
boy.
yeah,
the
yeah.
saving throw.
yeah.
Do
Zazie, go for it. Oh, you're good. So that's one save. If you get 2 more of those, you're stabilized without anyone needing to medical check you.
Hmm. Oh boy, do I want to just vicious
Oh, no.
mockery or do I want to attack with my rapier?
Well, you have advantage on one of them.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
attack with my rapier.
Okay.
We'll double team him.
Actually, Drug had to roll as well.
Oh! Oh!
I hear noises. I don't see rolls though.
Did it come through? Did it come through?
No,
No.
but I'll take your word on it.
Oh, 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 oh.
You
Okay, you
hit
roll. You rolled a bunch of zeros or O's.
A 3 and a natural 20.
Oh, a crit. Okay, let's
Nice.
see some crit damage.
And and I rolled a
2d8.
a 1 and then a +2.
So how much total?
How much?
You should have 3 numbers to add together.
Sorry. I added the roll numbers are a 1 a 1 and a 4 and then a +2.
So you
7
did
damage.
6, 7? Sure. Yep. Okay, so you get him. You get him with like the best rapier stab you've ever had in your life because you don't normally rapier. Ugh! He takes it and you pull it out, and this time the blood is starting to pour instead of just soaking into his armor. He felt that one quite a bit. It is Corbin's turn, but he looks worried. He looks scared. And what does he do? He whispers to his weapon. He pulls it up to him, the null glow as he has called it, and he says, Twilight. And as soon as he does, boom, the whole area, as far as you guys are concerned, it goes dark. You can't see. Complete darkness, even for your person with night vision. Your ability to see is almost entirely gone. This magical darkness overtaking you. And there's no attacks. But as far as you're concerned, it's just darkness, and no one takes any damage. There's just a
Do we
circle
hear
of
him
darkness
move?
on you right now. May, it's your turn.
Do we hear him move or anything?
It's raining. The rain's coming. You don't hear nothing. You just know there's darkness.
Okay, I'm just gonna try to attack him.
Sure, go ahead.
He's standing there, so I just have regular because I would have
Yep,
it.
go for it.
All right.
So you shock and grasp the last place you knew where he was. That's a good hit, but when you go to grasp it, there's nothing.
No.
There was no man there anymore.
Okay.
You can
Oh, I guess I just say, he's gone.
that makes sense. I'm gonna kind of do this a little quicker for you guys. Yeah, he pulled the old villain disappearing act garbage that a DM does sometimes. He got away into the rain, leaving the corpses and Drug, who's rolls a nat 1. Yeah, he dies. He dies. His last breath as he just passes on, right beside Fjorn, who's he's fine, and he gets up with his 1 HP and sees the rest of you, and the two of you also tend to Oris's wounds and keep him from dying, and he can come up as well with 1 HP. The rest of the party is good.
Okay. So that went well.
Does the darkness go away pretty quick?
I'm gonna say it lasts for about it lasts like a couple of minutes. So you guys are doing this stuff. You pulled them out of the darkness. You noticed it was only like a bubble for like maybe 20-30 feet across or so. Yeah, you guys are. I'm just gonna pull us back to the main map because the battle is technically over.
So you can do that stuff, right?
Do what stuff?
Darkness. That's a really cool spell. I'm sure you have.
I mean, no, I don't have it. I could learn it. It's not like a super complex one, but I can't really see in darkness, so in the magical darkness.
Oh, he seems perfectly capable of it.
He was wielding some kind of cursed sword, and he also didn't necessarily be able to see inside of it. He just knew the radius of the spell.
Oh, I assume that if you cast the spell, you can see in it. That would make sense.
No, that would be two different spells. or a special kind of ability. It's a magical darkness, so people with dark vision like myself still can't see in it. Totally takes.
Magic is so strange sometimes. It would make it should make you cast invisibility on yourself. You should see yourself.
That doesn't make any sense.
Like sometimes
It's not like a
sometimes-
field, it's like a bubble around you. It's like it's like transmutation. You actually turn yourself into an invisible person.
it should make more sense at least somehow. But no, it just doesn't, and that's
Well, it's just
Maybe you can
Osmus
deal
for
with
you. Doesn't quite understand the magic he wields.
no.
Yeah. It's probably a good thing you're not a wizard.
Okay.
But you are-
sorry to cut you guys off. I'm gonna just take I'm just gonna offer that bio break right now.
Okay.
So if you guys
Yeah,
want to take a
you're
quick fiver, if you don't, you can keep doing this role play if you want between the two of you.
You're not either. You're a warlock. You.
I'm
I'll be
gonna
back,
in
yeah.
5.
are.
I'm not a warlock.
Obviously, we had to deal with the devil to get your mommy back, and that's okay. I understand.
Mommy back? What?
That's what were you doing over there? Obviously, you were doing super powerful attack spells. That's what they do.
I'm a wizard. I don't know what rumors you're trying to start about me, but I don't really appreciate it.
Okay, I'll accept that as truth. Okay.
You see
what
that
you
I
want.
have a spell book, right? She holds the spell book she's been using out. With
They
the
do
spell.
have those too.
They can use books, I guess. It's not like I've met a bunch of warlocks.
Yeah.
I've barely
have-
met anybody.
I
I've
guess
barely met any spellcasters.
All right. We'll see. I guess I'll believe you for now. But you're really, really young to be a wizard.
You're a little bit old to be so lowly powered.
Rude. And Scott.
Yeah, I need to grab some water.
Get out of here. Get out of here, little wiener. Quick shout out to all my viewers. Thanks for watching. Thank you for putting up that quick 5-minute break there. Once everyone's back, we will jump into it. I need to zoom in on this picture here for you guys. Yeah, that's way better. Whew. Now that was an encounter.
That was a close call.
It was a tight one. I'm glad I didn't kill anybody. I guess if I want to give you guys a challenge, I just have to like force you to fight over and over again until you run out of stuff to do.
Better dice rolls, that would have went
A
a
lot
lot
better,
differently. Like, Fjorn had nothing there.
I was
That's
able
true.
to kill one soldier, but I didn't even hit Drug at all. Not one single time.
You're gonna have to remember that for the rest of your days now. Fjorn will know that he has no chance for a rematch now against Drug. Technically, he beat him, and now he's dead. And you'll have to
So-
live with that.
I assume Maverick is dead. He
Maverick
didn't
is
save
dead,
his
yeah.
saving throws.
Yeah.
Damn, I
If
wanted
we're
to try and save
gonna,
him.
if we're gonna, I'm gonna wait for everyone to be here, and then we'll do a quick recap of what's happened exactly. Quick rundown before I give you guys control. actually. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Still waiting. Just enjoying a sparkling beverage. Okay, sorry. I just had a quick little thing I wanted to type up while I'm waiting for our last two actors to return. Zazimus, are you here?
Yeah. Need
Ma-
some raisins.
Raisins?
Hmm?
Mm. You know what? Very surprised. I'm surprised that you didn't use the water at any point.
I thought about it, and I would have, but it never,
You had advantage all the time, so.
it never became a meaningful. There was never a moment where it was of sufficient strategic value.
Yeah, I agree.
There was one point where it would have been almost useful, but I would have knocked over our people too.
Fair enough. Okay, since everyone is back now, I'm going to quickly just go over. Okay. So you guys have successfully defended yourself against this attack. There were some people. These are the first times we actually felt any people die. Maverick, when you got to him, he was already dead. He didn't even have death saving throws. As far as you can tell, that blade killed him on the spot when it drove deep into his spine. That poor halfling. He was so helpful and so useful to you guys, and and then the others are alive. Callie's alive. Tessa's alive. Gimbal and Foal have survived. Drug is dead. The 3 soldiers are also dead. And
I'd like to see if there's anything good on any of them.
there's basic equipment. I guess they didn't bring money with them when they decided to attack you guys. But you can make a quick investigation if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll do that too.
Yeah, go for it, guys. Give me that rolls. First roll I see, I'm going to take, though.
Yeah, it might not be mine. I don't know. My stuff's going a little bit slow on me.
Come on!
Well, that's not very good. So, overall, you didn't find anything of serious value, but you did notice that when you know, got close and looked at them, you saw what some people had seen earlier, that on their chests they all have this tattoo, this strange tattoo that you guys haven't seen before. It's like a sword with like bat wings, black tattoo, like a mark on all three of them.
Okay.
Or could we roll like religion or something on it?
Am I able to? Am I able to talk, or am I still kind of like?
Yeah,
out
you
of
guys are all conscious. You guys can each have a hit point back, and you're all, you know, around, and you're all investigating together. That's fine.
We're over by the potato farm, right? I moved my guy down there.
You guys are like somewhere in the middle between the potato farm and the town hall. The town hall was actually technically what you stood on. So you're over there-ish somewhere. I guess there's some trees in the way that didn't end up in the battlefield. Oh well.
What?
Can we
Oh.
roll something to figure out what that is, or do you just not know what the symbol means?
Well, all of you gather around, and I don't know how you guys want to role play this, but yeah, are you? I guess the first one to notice it is Zazimus, so I guess you would say something about having seen the symbol.
There's this interesting sword that makes me think of the sword that dark sword that is so dangerous. Black wings and on a sword. Does that remind anybody of anything? Because I'm just
Seems culty.
yeah. I don't like it offhand, but who knows? It could be something. Elfish.
Well, I happen to have recognized that myself when I seen it on the soldier. I recognized that too.
What does it mean?
Well, it comes from a very depressing place. It's actually a place that nobody wants to go through. It's called Shadowfell,
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
and the tattoo itself is a mark of the cult called Gloom Ilk.
Gloom.
Gloom Elk.
Oh, Gloom Elk. How do you know this?
That may be for another time, but I can tell you Corbin is no doubt a major part of that.
Do you think that he recently became part of it, or he didn't have that weapon before that I know of?
Does he strike you as a high level or a low level cult member?
Well, when's the last time you guys saw Corbin fight with a weapon?
Yeah, I was gonna say in the arena, but not.
Yeah,
With a weapon there.
Strangely
So-
enough, if we go back and we look at the encounters you've had with him, he refused to draw his weapon against the owlbear, or he just had other
Or the-
people command them. And when he
Or
fought
the
the
goblins
goblins,
at the start.
he was
Yeah.
just out of eye shot the whole time. You knew he was very good at whatever he did, but you didn't actually see the combat. Interesting.
So he's a bit. It's a little weird that he left before then, right?
Well, I've only seen him. Well, I wasn't at the arena, so
He
I have no
fought
opinion.
barehanded.
'Cause I wasn't in the owlbear fight.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was assuming that they were kind of mentioning that.
He was never really a part of the owlbear.
Yeah, the blade was new. Neither of us had seen it.
It seems like something that maybe we should investigate a little bit.
Just recognized the tattoo and it belonging to that cult. I am sure about that.
Should we? So I would one of you like to get that sword for yourselves if we kill him?
I think it's cursed.
It looks.
I,
I'd
Oh,
I,
we can
sooner
get a
see it
priest to break the
destroyed.
curse.
I
Well,
don't
it's-
think that we should plan on taking it. I mean, if we happen to get it and we're like, oh, this is actually not an evil sword, then
Look, you
I
can
would
hire a
say
priest to break the curse. It's not. I think anyway.
sometimes not all curses are easily broken. But I would say it's pretty straightforward. We should give it to Bjorn.
Well, having moved through
If it's
Shadowfell, I'm not sure. It's kind of a very dark place, and as far as chasing him down, I'm not sure I'd want to go that far into chasing him down. If he stays in this plane, then that's fine. But
I think that unless you have a reason, unless you have something that you truly think it's, a reasonable decision to not, I think that we have to not sorry. We have to not allow evil to have a place to hide. Otherwise it'll continue to grow, you know.
So, I just want to stop here. Outside of the game a little. I'm just curious what everyone knows about the Shadowfell, or if I should discuss it a little bit, because it's come up
Outside the game, I know absolutely zero about almost all D&D lore.
I know like a ton about Shadowfell. I mean, not everything, but
I have very little knowledge of it. It's come up like once or twice, but in passing.
So
Sure.
I'll just do a little quick. Like, obviously your characters don't hear what I'm about to tell you, but I'm just gonna let you guys kind of know a little bit about it, and then what your characters know about it may even be more than what I'm about to say. But that has to come up, and you have to ask me. We'll do rolls for it or what have you. If you're like, oh, do I know this about whatever? That's the only reason I stopped the religion check, because I wanted you guys to do this role play a little bit. Because you don't really need the roll, you can just kind of get the knowledge. So for anybody who's completely... Okay, 1 second. There's an annoyance over here.
I think if you've seen Stranger Things, you basically get it.
Yeah, it's a lot like that. It's a lot like Stranger Things. It's a lot like the Upside Down, where like it exists on top of the real world. So like if there's something existing in the material plane, it might be different in the Shadowfell. Now, the Shadowfell isn't intrinsically evil, but there are a lot of evil things there, and living there is hard on anyone who lives there. And it is where a lot of like undead and other creatures of the night, things that like to drain energy, like vampires and wraiths, those things might come from the Shadowfell. Or shadows and zombies, which you have encountered not that long ago, could somehow be tied back to the Shadowfell. Correct me if I am wrong, but I think I've given a broad understanding of it. You guys could Google that very quickly if you wanted to know this information. So, it, like the Upside Down, it exists everywhere and is all around you all the time, but because it's a different plane, you can't actually come in contact with it, and requires some kind of powerful magic usually, or some kind of portal to move from one place to another.
But it is generally easier to get there than like other types of planes.
Yeah, but more than, say, like the plane of fire, or like...
Right.
Yeah, because it isn't physically in a different cosmological location. It's overlaid.
It's I feel like I would know only about it just because I would know maybe about the Feywild.
Well, now that you bring that up, you can mention this if you'd like to the party, but yeah, you would be aware also of the Feywild. Yeah, you would be. Your character can mention that if they want as well. The Feywild, just for quick recap on everybody, is almost the same idea. Again, so if you can think about it, there's actually like two upside downs. There's like a up and a down in the middle, or however you want to do it. And the Feywild is where the Fey come from, or fairies, not necessarily intrinsically good things. A lot of the time they're very aggressive. It's a terrible place where you can be charmed as well or hurt. But it's, you know, it's more beauty and growth, and if you can imagine like where living trees may come from, or fairies and things of that nature. You mean you fought fairies in the first or second session? I can't remember. Well, you didn't fight them. They distracted you, and then Tessa killed them.
Thanks.
If you guys need a recap of that battle, that was how they got into the owlbear fight. Is that the were they fairies or pixies? I forget.
Pixies.
I think
or
they were pixies.
Sylphs or something like that.
They sprites. Maybe that was what it was. I getting them all mixed up. Like, what kind of crypt is it again? I don't remember. So yeah, they got like they were whispering to them and made them run into this clearing. The only reason the players went in was because Callie was drawn in more than everybody else. And the owlbear showed up and they defended Callie and defeated the owlbear. Tessa was nowhere to be found, but then when she came back, she had those creatures, the sprites, fairies, whatever I ended up making them, dead on a string, and she took them and possibly cashed them in at the war camp or something. You don't know what she did with them, but she had them like she would a goblin ear or something of that nature. Yeah, but you're aware of the Feywild, and it's very similar to the way the Shadowfell works, except it's obviously the world itself is almost polar opposite in some senses, where one is a very nature beauty oriented and the other one's dark, gloomy, just like basically gray washed world. So I guess, yeah, you guys are still free to do whatever you want, I guess. The Failor's dead. The people at the potato...
Where are the people in the, like, I don't know, who's doing anything about that besides us?
Yeah, so there are some other farmers and such that were at the turnip farm or the grape farm that were, you know, they knew the NPCs. The other NPCs had helped them grow while you guys were doing the other campaign missions or the other quests or whatever you want to call them. They had helped with those things, helped grow the crops and what have you. So they've all gone, or the other elves have gone to like help at the potato farm to like collect the dead and reduce fix the damage that's there. I guess the only person really around would be the people from the orphanage, which was the woman who takes care of the orphans and a couple of the orphans, which are luckily I didn't kill any orphans today. They're still fine. They're shaken about the event, but they're available for you guys to talk to them if you want. And the other NPCs are around as well if you want to chat or decide what to do. They look very beat up, and they're ready to basically call it a day and take a long rest into tomorrow morning. It's a little early to do it, but I mean, you're not going to wake up at midnight. You're going to
bury the dead.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys are free to do whatever you want, or you can take that long rest, or you can whatever you want to do.
I've been thinking about this cult, right? I just call it, what is it called again?
The Gloom Ilk.
Elk, right? the Gloom Ilk. And I was just thinking, you know, I want to know what you guys think about, you know, kind of going after this guy and the cult and seeing if we can do something about it.
It seems likely that they may have some influence over this unnecessary war. Further investigation seems prudent.
Yeah, we don't know how powerful they are, really. They could be really widespread. I mean, your friend, or the man with the sword, he was like a captain or something, right? So
He led us Fjorn and I, for 2 to 3 days. Sorry, I don't remember the exact length of time. My in character should probably know. So
Yeah, that's fine.
Or right, I guess she was meaning more just the fact that he's like in this higher position, but he's secretly was something more than that. We just don't know how many people could be
Geopolitics.
yeah,
geopolitics.
how
all that.
widespread the group, I guess the glue milk is within the war effort. Probably, that's what you mean.
Yeah, they could be, controlling it or causing it even, or at least one of the causes, keeping down the. I mean, they came here to kill the innocent elves that live here. But what I was thinking, oh sorry,
That is a very interesting question. But I don't like what it means.
the question or the fact that the cult.
If the cult is just a small one scale, if of the smallest scale, if the only person left is Fjorn, and he's the top member, and we killed all of the rest of the cult except for Fjorn.
Except for
Not
Corbin.
Fjorn.
Why do you keep
Corbin.
saying Bjorn Corbin?
It's a difficult word. It's okay. It's okay.
Except for Corbin, if the only one member left is Corbin, and it's an isolated thing, and there's nothing to worry about, and the war is basically what it looks like, and there are no ulterior motives. It's basically everything is basically contained. If, on the other hand, there are a lot more of them, and they're all throughout, the entire war needs to be reevaluated and put on pause until it's uprooted. As much as I find this because you never know. Because if you have a cult like this, you can have some very weird side effects. Like, who knows? They could be planning to kill off a bunch of elves. Then they could also be planning to kill off a bunch of humans. Then another bunch of elves could come in. Who knows? This could be creating a justification for elves to run everything later. Who knows? This is
There we go.
That's a human part of it. Anyway, I think that we don't know what they could be up to, but the point is at the very least they could be helping this war go on. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't think war is nearly ever necessary unless it's against, true pure evil.
Agreed. And most of the time, pure evil. Pure evil is very rare.
Yeah, but things like cults, they're the ones that sometimes they just somehow, I don't even understand how that's possible, but they will just worship evil. Like, it's scary. It's one of the things that I just don't understand about the world quite yet.
Corbin himself may even have some strange justifications. They may also likely be incorrect or invalid, but he may believe them, possibly due to a curse. We cannot know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd considered, and if we had been able to hold him, while I was, pretty upset with what he was doing, I thought, I was going to try to simply knock him out and see if we could take him prisoner. And I don't know much about curses, but I know they can be very powerful and they can ruin people's lives. So.
He may be a victim entirely of the curse.
Exactly.
All right. Do you guys?
I would like, since we're doing this, I'd like to take a short rest and use Song of Rest.
A
Anyone
short
okay?
rest. Okay. Well, I
think
was
we should
gonna
just
let.
do
If you
long
guys
rest.
want, you can. Excuse me. Just take the night and have.
What
Oh.
time? What time of day is it? It's still like what, noonish maybe?
Yeah, I mean, technically, like after everything's starting to move around. Excuse me. It's probably like maybe 1:30. I mean, you guys don't know exactly what time it is, but especially with it raining so hard, it's kind of hard for you to tell what time it is. The rain has lightened up a bit, but it's still dark out, and the rain is, you guys are soaked. And honestly, if you stay in the rain for a lengthy period of time, there may be, potential constitution rolls.
Right.
Let's go in, dry up, and get some blankets on.
The elves also, in all of the mix, have offered the town hall for the NPCs and you to stay in as well, because there are no town hall people anymore. And now with Fielor down, there is no government here. It's just a bunch of farmers, the orphanage, the chapel, the chaplain, and some guy that knows a lot about tracking and adventuring in the hovel. In fact, you specifically may know that when you hear about the Shadowfell and these like other things that you're like, oh, you vaguely remember like hearing that he may know about that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I'll mention that. I'll say maybe tomorrow we can speak with old man Hobble guy.
You know his name. You know his name is Orim.
Orim.
Orim
Man,
with
all
a
these-
Y. It's very similar to Oris, so don't worry. If you do speak with him, he has a nickname he goes by that does not sound like Oris.
I'll just call him Old Orim so I can.
That sounds good to me.
Old Orim in the hovel. I think he might know some more about the Shadowfell and the Feywild and other realms and things like that. So
Might he also have information on Rim?
yeah, that was the other thing he would know about. We should definitely ask him about that. I was just meaning since we already planned to go, we can ask him about that as well.
I think Oris would like to do a short rest and then go to the hovel and try and find out more about.
Oh, you
Rim.
want to do it today?
He wants to look for Rim still, yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I guess I'll do that too. If we're not going to we're going to do a short rest, I can swing it, I guess.
Oris wants to get the town to leave before Corbin comes back with healthy soldiers again, and because we
let's
don't
do-
know how big the glue milk is. So
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to leave, honestly. I don't know how to make them leave.
Yeah, you get an extra Song of Rest. Each get an extra 1d6.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, you guys can do a quick short rest. An hour in the town, drying off, wringing out your clothes and what have you. And then yeah, I think you guys had some hit dice left, so feel free to roll them and gain some hit points back on top of the Song of Rest that Zosimus just mentioned.
I am at full health.
Bunch of you
plus a D6 for the Song of Healing or whatever,
Yeah.
Song of Rest.
Yeah.
And I will get a couple spell slots back.
I feel like some of you had used a hit dice in the last short rest, but
I had one left.
what,
Yeah. So.
whatever you guys want to
Yeah, I
do.
used 2 of them.
I feel like Zosimus, you actually used all 3 of them when you did yours last, or something like that. I
No,
vaguely
we have a long rest since then. We have a long rest since then.
it was after the battle with the shadow, and I remember you rolling poorly and being really upset because you rolled a couple of 1s, and you were like, "What the heck?"
That
So
was
we have
that.
a long rest since then.
Yeah, we long rested since then.
You haven't long rest. No, it was graveyard, well, and this combat.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't think we have long rested.
May has yet to spend a night with you guys, which is what I was offering just now, but that's fine. You guys can take the short rest instead, and go see.
I was
Orm.
willing to do it for other people, but yeah, I mean, if not everyone wants,
If we haven't had a long rest, let's long rest.
It's up to you
I
guys. It's either 3 o'clock ish, and you guys are dry now and feeling a bit better and having those rolls you just had, or it's 7 in the morning and everyone's right as rain 100%.
Let's write it for rain, because that explains why I was so low on spells.
I mean, we can talk to him at least, I guess, this evening before tomorrow, and then like in the morning we can immediately hit the.
He's not gonna like just attack you. That would be weird. DM wouldn't do that, right?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't figure that. Even if that happened, I still technically am fine.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you guys. It's up to you
I've
guys.
been running on low spell slots.
You guys want
Yeah.
the long rest?
Oris wants to go and get out of here. He's
Okay.
he needs the long rest, but he's kind of stubborn. So
I need the long rest. I have nothing.
Okay. How
you wanna
about
go?
how about I'm okay with this. How about most of you take the long rest and Oris can just go and speak with him one-on-one for a little bit, and then you can return and maybe break their long rest or whatever. Like we'll figure it out.
I can go too. I forgot that I only have to sleep for like 4 hours anyways,
That's true.
and I don't really need to
Or is it-
rest.
Oh yeah, because you're a full elf. For some reason, I was thinking you're a half elf. Yeah, as a full elf, you don't even need the full 8 hours.
Why don't May just go and then the rest of us take the long rest?
That works too. I don't even need to take a rest that much. I just needed my spell slots back, but
Yeah. Okay. No problem. Let's. I mean, there's not a whole lot of time left, so we're just basically gonna. You know what? Let's just say everybody can speak with, or what I'm gonna do, just because I don't like to keep people out of the RP. I'm gonna say that you guys arrive to speak with Aurum, and after a short introduction, he returns to the town hall with you guys to continue the conversation, so that all of you can speak with him, if
Okay.
necessary. I just don't like the idea of splitting the party and being like, half of you have to basically do nothing for the next 20 minutes until the stream is over. That would suck. So yeah, you guys meet Aurum for the first time. He is when you see him, he looks. You could just feel this like strength coming from him. It's almost like you feel like just seeing him. You almost feel like he is almost scarier than Corbin, even though the amount of Corbin you've seen. Normally, he would be wearing some kind of like. I guess right now he's just wearing regular. Everyday clothes, but when you did enter the hovel, you noticed that he had armor and weapons and such like on the walls and stuff. So he's clearly a skilled fighter of some sort, and is normally quite at the ready. He returns and he meets all of you, and you explain what happens, and he looks bothered. And so far, before I give you guys control, let you guys start role playing with Aurum. He does not have that same nihilism that you've come to expect from every other elf in this town. He, when you mentioned that this place was attacked, he looks noticeably upset. Like it matters to him that people die, unlike everybody else who was just kind of like, whatever. So, with that said, Aurum introduces himself to you guys. Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Aurum. I am known as the Black Fang of El Rolin.
isn't that just like the coolest nickname?
Black Fang of what?
a name you don't recognize? El Rolin.
Do I know him because of my elf thing? My do I know him about?
I don't think your backstory includes knowing this man. I don't
Okay.
think so.
My paranoia about elves.
I mean, he is an elf. He's 100% an elf, and and it's the oldest elf that any of you have ever seen. Like he has this way about him that speaks volumes over what Phalor or anyone else you've met so far. As far as elves go, this is the first one that you've met that feels unworldly in like you know, in his just the way he exists, you know, the way he moves, the way he speaks. It has this register to it that you just. I'm gonna say it outside the game. You can tell he's old, hundreds of years old.
Has wrinkles, maybe.
Well, I don't think he visibly looks that old. I don't think it's like he's aging. You know, elves can live a long time.
Like an Elrond look or something.
Yeah, he might have like a little bit of wear to him, but for the most part, it's just his natural like posture and stuff. Like, it's not like this guy's gonna die anytime soon. He's just knows, like, you can tell that he's, you know, been around.
So, would I know what the heck that word means in Elvish or something, or?
Elrolin. Give me a history check to see how good your parents were at telling you things.
Okay. I honestly feel like this guy is like sort of one of May's heroes. Just because he's not the same as everybody else. I just got an 11.
Okay, so you don't know so much about Elrolin. I mean, you can just ask Orm and he'll explain it, but the Black Fang you've heard stories of. And you didn't realize that was who they were talking about when your parents mentioned the Black Fang.
Okay.
So you had heard stories of this, you know, great elven warrior, skilled, capable character known as the Black Fang, and some of the like great feats that he had done. But you didn't know it was Orm. You knew who Orm was because you knew it was this strange guy who lived in the hovel and didn't spend much time in town, even in the last 30 years that you've been alive. But your parents did talk about the Black Fang, and they never made that connection. So it kind of clicks in your head, and you're like, oh, this is the Black Fang.
You're the Black Fang? Wait, I've heard stories about the Black Fang.
That doesn't surprise me.
Damn, alright. No, what? Wait, can you tell us about what you did? And what is
I've done?
this Elrolin or whatever?
Elrolin. He shakes his head a little bit. He's almost disappointed in you. Elrolin is our home, child. Elrolin is the heart of all elves.
Wait, from the Feywild or from here?
From here, my child.
Where is it?
So, okay, I'm just gonna... are you aware of the basic mapped area that they know? Oh, you guys have no idea, actually.
No.
You guys... You know, I put a cartographer in the war camp and no one cared.
I was thinking about going there, but...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were thinking about going, but...
I want you guys to get this map, and you will when you at some point, if you ever encounter the cartographer, but he's going to explain to you that this... you're going to get some information here. So I'm going to show it to you guys. If you guys screenshot it, whatever, but technically you don't physically have this physical map. He's just going to basically give you the explanation. This is a map I made like the second session, and we just never had encountered it. So I'll bring you guys here real quick. So you guys are on a continent called Caldania, and Ironfell is where the main can you guys see this? Oh, you guys
It's all
can't.
black.
Yeah, give me 1 second. It automatically fog will word it. I'm sorry. Here you go. And I think I picked the wrong one. Give me 1 second to do it again. And there you go.
Nope.
So the continent you are on, and you guys possibly knew this already, so he didn't actually tell you guys exist on a continent called Caldania, but that's where you live. The Ironfell is the main major city that the Empire, the all non-elves basically came from. That's where the major military force, and you can see that kind of line to the main war camp. That's the supply line, the supply route that you guys would have traveled down to arrive here. And then there's just forested elven lands for the most part. So El Rolin is the main like city or whatever. We'll call it the counterpoint to Ironfell, essentially. You wouldn't have known that because this map is written by non-elves, so you don't have, a physical map of the elven lands. But yes, El Rolin is the capital of where the elves come from, and the Black Fang is his title from those lands. So he explains all of this, in a role-played way.
It's on this continent?
Yes, it's in those elven lands.
Okay.
So, like, if you were to keep going north deeper into the forests, you would eventually encounter, you would encounter more elven, places along the way, but eventually you could possibly find your way to this capital.
How big is this?
Like the scale?
Yeah.
Okay, so you originally said it would take like 3 weeks or something to get the letter.
That's my assumption.
So I'm okay with keeping that kind of distance. So whatever you think the travel time on horseback would be in 3 weeks, that's the distance between the main camp and Ironfell.
Damn.
So this is a rather large. You can now keep in mind that there are settlements and other existence on the other side of the Ulan Gulf, but they're not related to you guys. You don't, as far as you're aware, that's all Elven, but it may not be. The main Elven area is actually the Elven lands, as far as they are aware, this forested area here, and this could have other. Like there's like trade over here maybe, but you guys don't have a whole lot of knowledge based on what's over here. You just know that there are maybe the elves and the other races are all happy with each other over here. You don't quite know. And then lastly, the White Seas. This southern point is where you guys know that there is the boats and the potential escape off the continent that you were guys thinking about. And the White Seas, I don't know if I've explained this to everybody, are called that way because along the seas, there's like these weird situations where there's almost like sandbars in the middle of it'll be like, 1,000 meters deep, and then it'll like pillar up to only being like 2 feet deep of water. And so when that happens, you can see the white like spots on the ocean, on the sea, all the way across, every once in a while as you're sailing, and they'll be like a kilometer like of diameter. Like they'll be massive, just almost like islands that don't quite poke out of the water. And so that's why they call it the White Sea, because as you sail across it, sometimes the water will appear white as you go over it. You guys are getting a bunch of lore today.
That's cool, yeah. So, El Rolin is somewhere north, basically, in the Elven lands.
That's correct.
How far is it? Why don't we go back? Are we not allowed to go back or something?
Well, we're here to protect them.
We're here to What do you mean? No one here tries to protect anyone.
We're here to protect those south of us. We're here to keep the border safe.
But what are there other towns that are like full of warriors? Everyone here are farmers. No one here protects. They would have been slaughtered had.
Well, we used to have warriors here. We used to.
Has it been so long they've just forgotten?
I don't think they care anymore. Our people have been taken as slaves. It's hard to have the will to guard and help those that attack you. And it doesn't surprise me that they've given up.
It surprises me. I don't understand.
See, to him, however old you are is like a blink. Like he's
I know.
He's like so surprised that you don't know these things because it's like the common knowledge to him and to you is like so vastly different.
And I'm looking at this and thinking, he is old enough to be a wizard.
Yeah, a wizard. I considered it in my younger days, but I was drawn to the sword.
Swords are impressive too.
So did he say he? Maybe this can be an in character. Did he say we're protecting from those in the south, or we're protecting those in the south?
The reverse, the flip to what you guys have been thinking. That's the twist.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I
Yes,
thought I heard. So in
he's
character, Oris will say,
claiming-
"You mean we're protecting the humans?
From
This
elves?
town protects the humans from the elves?"
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
Wait, so there's elves up there that want to come down here?
He just kind of looks sad for a second. Let me tell you a story then. You all seem to need to understand a few things. And if you guys are going to bear with me, I can give you some information. I kind of want to do it in character.
Please, I lean back and just
Yeah.
just smile and sit down to hear a story that I am just dying to hear.
You guys are getting to get some juicy lore. Oh, baby.
Like I just sit down, lay back, and just open my ears. Take notes. Take
Now
notes.
I'm feeling a little on the spot about it. I was about to just do it, and now that I've talked about it, now I'm embarrassed. Okay. Well, we've been in a battle in the Elven lands for some time against a creature we call the Mazgate. It's an ancient evil that constantly roams the Elven lands. The elves of Elrolin, battle with this creature in an never-ending war, a never-ending struggle. We cannot kill it, but if we don't attack it, if we don't die and bleed to defeat this creature, it will stay in one spot for far too long and open portals to the Feywild and to the Shadowfell and bring those things upon this continent, Caldania. I've fought this thing less times than a handful, and I've lost many brothers fighting the Mazgate. It's a massive thing, larger than any beast I've ever seen, and with it brings such terrible things. The Shadowfell and the Feywild, they can deal great scars and damage to the world around you. I'm sure you've seen them. I'd be surprised if you hadn't encountered anything from their kind. But our job has been to maintain those things, to keep them within the Elven lands and protect everyone else beyond it. This place used to be filled with warriors. This place used to be a vestige for our kind. But then we were attacked and taken and wounded, and honestly, I lost communications, if you will. We had disagreements on what we should do. Phalor, he's aware now of Phalor's passing, was a stubborn one. I haven't left my hovel in decades, honestly. Elrolin is a beautiful city. Many people, commerce, rich, and our prince El Ulin. It's close on purpose. It's the difference is a few letters in the middle. He is a gracious and powerful man who cares for his people. But like I've been saying, there are things in that land that don't need to leave there, that we can handle. It saddens me to know that the age of lesser races, and he does say that, and it twinges you a little, Zosimus,
Yes.
would
I give
attack
her an eyebrow.
and fight against us when we have done such great things for them. I'm disheartened. And that's the end of his little speech there.
And Aura says, could it be that the Gloom Ilk is working with this creature?
No, I don't think that they are aligned. He probably just created doorways and the cult came in to do the things that they do. The material plane is very appealing to some.
So, this thing, it just opens portals up to other worlds, and is that it?
The Mazgate? Well, it also kills and destroys, but it does not have desire. It simply exists like a force of nature. And when left alone, it will hibernate and create portals and links that we then have to force it to move and then shut them. But I don't know. I'm guessing that we aren't doing that great of a job these days. There's always some things that fall through the cracks.
So, not to seem... I don't know. Have you just given up then?
Well, they didn't want my help. I don't know. I've been stationed here for some time, and I've had no word to return.
Could not something bad have happened?
It's possible, but I don't think that we are that weak.
You, like, kind of literally just said that you guys are getting weaker.
Well, he's not fully aware of exactly what's going on again. He just kind of hangs out in his hovel and waits. But yeah, it's possible.
I think that...
It's more like, if you can imagine, a plague that you can never cure. And the boils move from parts of your body. You cure them and you help them, but there'll be more to sprout up elsewhere. I just imagine the plague is more here now than we're used to. And possibly they're defeating it elsewhere.
How... Has this thing always been here?
Yes. As far as I've lived.
But I know you're old, but since the beginning of time, I mean? How did it come to be?
You'll have to ask a scholar about that one, I suppose.
Well, who might know? Would elves from El Rulin know?
They may. I imagine we have records of these things. I know how to fight it. I haven't quite questioned its existence.
I look around at the others.
Why do...
Feel free to outsmart the DM, guys. Come on.
I'm trying to work through something. Okay. Why do the... Are there any sorts of patterns to this thing?
Sorry? Power?
Pattern.
Pattern?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of come out of character a bit because we are getting near the end of this thing, and I'll explain. You can ask me questions, I'll just answer them as a DM. So this thing moves when they bother it, and then it will just travel randomly and stop again. And every, however many years, they will attack it again so that it doesn't stay in one place for too long. Because the longer it stays there, the more stuff will leak in and bleed from the Shadowfell, or in some cases the Feywild, which you guys have encountered creatures that could be considered part of the Feywild. In fact, I would argue that the fact that the forest is constantly growing against you, it's always assumed that that's just elven magic and some mysterious thing, but it would more likely be creatures from the Feywild bleeding in and taking hold of areas. And you also know that creatures of the Feywild can leave you with a feeling of how did I describe it? Angry goodness. I think I told you guys, if the two original characters remember that weird,
Like a charm, kind of.
you remember it from a certain location.
Okay, the next question I have is: Do the human civilizations around know about this entity?
Well, as far as you know, Ironfell and you guys have never heard of it. Now, the interaction with whoever's living in this upper portion and the connection with the elves there, or even possibly this small section here, because just this ring, this forested ring is the Elven lands. So your knowledge and the knowledge of Orym is limited. So as far as I'm concerned, you guys kind of have there's land there, and you know there's people there. You don't know who they are or their relationship with the Mazgate.
Right. Okay,
But yes, the people you are with are oblivious. That's why they are attacking the elves. They don't realize that they're being defended. They think that the elves are evil for whatever reason. And you may be a good example of that. I mean, your character is Zosimus.
Well, my character believes they're evil because of that weird thing in my backstory. But okay,
It's also possible, and not completely outside the realm, that there are agents from either of those other planes purposefully seeding, militaristic ideas to this empire.
That's what Oris was trying to ask Orym there, but I guess Orym didn't think so.
are there
Geopolitics.
do you when you how frequently do you attack it? Is this like when you track it down, you attack it immediately, or do you let it sit for a while?
It's not clockwork. It basically, they move it, and then when things get too bad, they attack it again. And it can range from, in some situations, it's only been like 8 years maybe, and then they have to do it again, to many decades. You can kind of think of it a little bit like the winter coming in Game of Thrones. Sometimes they have very long winters, and sometimes they don't. I mean, they're not necessarily being attacked by White Walkers, but zombies can sometimes come from the Shadowfell.
I was wondering if they try and make sure it's like hey, let's try and make sure it doesn't stay in place for more than a couple months.
Well, sometimes they get lucky, and it just doesn't. Sometimes their attack is more successful and they do more damage to it, so it takes time to just heal or what have you. Sometimes it's just in a location that they're better prepared to handle the things. They prepare these campaigns as needed, and they lose countless souls when they do it. So if they can delay doing it, they usually do. It's almost like a sacrifice at that point.
Okay.
I think that while this knowledge is useful, I think that the main question here is whether we want to do something about it.
So, can we discuss I hate to cut you guys off. It is going a little late. I'm gonna just wrap up the stream, and then we can discuss. I won't give you more information. You're gonna have to chew on what I've given you. But if you guys want to discuss between each other what the party wants to do moving forward, we can do that outside. Quickly, I just want to say thank you for all the viewers watching. I noticed that we've had some actual pretty good viewer numbers for the day, and you guys are awesome. Thank you for watching. I hope that we've given you something entertaining to watch, and there'll be more next Sunday. Also, feel free to watch earlier episodes. They'll be on YouTube or on my website, tubertugger.ca. Or the YouTube is also, it's Tubertugger TV, I think. I don't know why I added the TV, but you can find it with a quick Google, hopefully, or search on YouTube. Or the links are down below, obviously. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys all had a great time. And I'm really excited to dive into this stuff because now that we have a party of 4, I think I've given them like a huge chunk of stuff to chew on. And they may still not do it and may decide to get on a boat and sail away. So, I mean, the whole world exists beyond Caldania as well. And you just are 4 people in a massive world. All right. Unless you guys want to say goodbye. You guys want to say goodbye real quick, maybe? I don't know.
Bye.
See ya.
All right. Thank you for watching. I hope everybody has a good